welcome to Ariel Helwani's MMA Show!
Back in your life on this Monday, March 11th, 2019. Hello again, everyone. I'm Ariel Helwani. Welcome back to the program. Hope you had a lovely weekend. It's great to be here with you on another Monday afternoon in Bristol, Connecticut. So, my weekend was good. Thank you for asking. It was another busy one for the UFC. They made their debut in beautiful Wichita, Kansas. I'm still not quite sure why they were in Wichita, Kansas, and for all the people that I talked to that were there, it seemed like it wasn't the hottest crowd of all time, but it was a good card. It was a fun card. There were some notable things that happened Saturday night in Wichita. The best part, of course, was that it blew right by on ESPN Plus. It was like 10:45. The card was over, and I didn't know what to do with the rest of my night. It was incredible. I love it. I can get used to it. This weekend's card is going to be even earlier. It's going to end at like 7. That's in London, and we'll talk about that later. But, of course, the big news on Saturday, Junior Dos Santos wins his third in a row. He defeats Derek Lewis in the second round. We almost had a Pete Sell, Scott Smith moment, if you recall, many moons ago, where Scott Smith got hit to the body, and then Pete Sell went in for the finish, and then Scott Smith caught him and knocked him out. And in my opinion, that's one of the greatest finishes in UFC history. Well, we almost had a moment like that on Saturday where JDS landed a spinning back kick to the body, and then it seemed like Derek Lewis rocked him and almost finished him. In the end, though, JDS survives the round. Lewis survives the round. They go to the second round. JDS wins via second round TKO at 158. And afterwards, he sings happy birthday to his son, Bento. Happy birthday to Bento. It was a great moment. And now he's won 3 in a row, and I think we're all wondering, well, what exactly is next? Who is next for JDS? Is it Francis and Gana, who tweeted that emoji, that thinking emoji after the win? Will they go in a different direction? It's kind of a weird time at heavyweight. He spoke about that with Brock Lesnar and all that stuff. So we're going to talk to JDS in a matter of moments about where he goes from here, the victory, how he has been able to extend his career when it seemed like for the longest time it may be over, that his chin was shot, all that stuff and more. I'm looking forward to that. So we have a lot to talk about. Some other notable wins. The other Dos Santos, Eliseu Dos Santos, with a big win over Curtis Millender. No one talks about that guy, and he's won, like 7 or 8 in a row at this point. Nico Price with a big win. Blagoy Ivanov with a big win over Ben Rothwell. Beneil Dariush with a really nice win over Drew Dober. Omari Akhmedov defeated Tim Boach. Anthony Rocco Martin, or is it just Rocco Martin, or is it Tony Martin, or is it Tony Rocco Martin? I don't know, but he won. Yana Kunitskaya won, Grant Dawson, Maurice Green, Matt Schnell, Alex Morono, and Alex White, all victorious Saturday in Wichita. This past weekend was Wichita. Coming up this Saturday, it's London. It's Darren Till against Jorge Masvidal. It's Gunnar Nelson versus Leon Edwards. Let me run down today's lineup, and then we shall get to our first guest of the day. I'm looking forward to today's show. A lot of interesting people today for all of you. First up, that man, Alexander Volkanovski. You may have heard last week, news made official that he will, in fact, be fighting Jose Aldo on May 11th. Now, if you heard my radio show before the card in Melbourne last month, Alex Volkanovski was on the program, and I asked him about fighting Jose Aldo on May 11th. Big opportunity, the former featherweight champion. This is the opportunity that he's been looking for. And he said he liked the fight. However, his best friend, Eli Hutchinson, was getting married that day. There's a twist to that story. Stay tuned. Volkanovski joins us at 3:45. 3:25, we'll be joined by Yoel Romero, also announced last week. He'll be meeting Jacare Souza, not Paulo Costa, on April 27th in Sunrise, Florida. Why? Well, that's a developing story in its own right. But this is a rematch of a fight that happened in UFC 194, a great fight, and an important fight at 185 pounds. At 3:05, we're going to be joined by Dillon Danis. Yes, Dillon Danis, that man. One of the most hated men in mixed martial arts. He gets under everyone's skin. And this is his first interview since the UFC 229 brawl. Remember that? Khabib jumping over the cage. Who did he jump towards? That man, Dillon Danis. This is his first interview since the brawl, first interview in months We're going to get his side of the story finally at 3:05. I'm looking forward to that. 2:45, we're going to talk to the newest member of One Championship, the legend Vitor Belfort will join us. That deal was announced 2 or so weeks ago. He's trying to get a fight against Roy Jones. Why did he sign with One? All that and more coming from the Phenom at 2:45. At 2:25, we're going to be joined by Sarah Kaufman. Sarah Kaufman, the newest member of the PFL. Sarah Kaufman, the now former Invicta bantamweight champion, that's 135, is moving up to 155. 155. She's moving up 20 pounds to take part in the PFL lightweight tournament. And, of course, it seems like the stars are trying to align to have her meet Kayla Harrison. Sarah Kaufman, Kayla Harrison in the finals. That's big-time business. We'll talk to her about why she has signed with PFL at 2:25. At 2:05, we were supposed to be joined by Mama Woodley, the great Mama Woodley, Deborah Woodley, who everyone loves so much. But, unfortunately, she has the flu and strep throat. So she has had to reschedule, and we will definitely have her on. So in her place will be that man, Joseph Duffy, who meets Mark J. Casey this Saturday at UFC London. We haven't seen Duffy in around a year and a half, November of 2017 to be exact. It has been quite some time since we talked to that man, since we've seen him in action. I'm looking forward to checking in with the man they call Irish Joe, Duffy. 145, we'll talk to Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith, it was announced last week, is going to be fighting Alexander Gustafsson on June 1st in Stockholm, Sweden. So yes, Anthony Smith, who just fought John Jones less than 2 weeks ago at UFC 235, lost that fight in Las Vegas. Quick turnaround for him. He's fighting June 1st in Stockholm. I'm looking forward to talking to him about the fight against Jones, the DQ that wasn't, and then why he's returning so quickly against Alexander Gustafsson. At 125, speaking of John Jones, we'll talk to Greg Jackson. Greg has a lot to say these days, and it has been almost 3 years, I think, since I've interviewed Greg Jackson. I'm looking forward to talking to him. It has been a while. And okay. It has been a while since I've talked to Greg Jackson. And, of course, he was in John's corner, also Diego Sanchez's corner. But I want to ask him about why it seems like he took a bit of a break and why he's back and all that stuff and more. I think he's going to have a lot of interesting things to say. And then in a matter of seconds, I do believe, we are going to be joined by the aforementioned Junior Dos Santos, who, as I said, picked up a big win over Derek Lewis. He has now won 3 fights in a row. This was another finish for the man they call Sagano. Second finish in a row. Of course, we last saw him prior to this past weekend in Adelaide when he defeated Tai Tuivasa. Prior to that, it was the win over Blagoy Ivanov. And he wants to be active. He wants to get back. He doesn't want to sit around trying to make up for lost time. So without further ado, let us go to the Skype machine and say hello to Cigano himself, Junior Dos Santos. Junior, how are you, my friend? Congratulations on the win.
Hey, Ariel. Thank you.
And now, most importantly, happy birthday to Bento.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful. So you turned 2?
He turned 2. Yeah, he's 2 years old now.
And when was his actual birthday?
And the day of the fight, March 9th.
Wow. So for me, I always have this thing where I don't want to miss my kid's birthday. I don't want to be away on my kid's birthday. Did it bother you that you weren't home? Did it hurt? You seem like such a great dad. Did it hurt you that you couldn't be there on his actual birth date?
A little bit, yeah. I would love to be here, but I was doing something, better for not only for me, but for him too, So I'm fine with that.
Did you show him the video of you singing happy birthday to him in the cage?
Yes, but he doesn't understand very well, But we showed him like Dad was singing for him.
Yes.
Dad and everybody else.
That's right. Do you find that Bento's your first and only child, right?
Yeah, but we are expecting Maria to be born in May now,
Wow.
Almost there.
I didn't know that. Parabéns to you and your wife. That's amazing.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's our daughter now. She's coming.
That's
almost there at the beginning of May.
Do you find that the way you approach fights is different now that you are a father? That you have a different set of motivation and beliefs now that you're a dad?
Oh yes, I think for everything in life. Actually, I used to say I don't even remember what were my goals before of Bento.
Wow.
I don't remember them anymore. Now I have new goals, and all my goals have them as involved as priority. So yeah, man, it's a big motivation in my life, but it's also extra responsibility. Uh, that's something curious, but I care more about myself now
Yeah.
than I used to. Know, before I used to say no, I'll take care of myself. I'll do whatever, and I can deal with that. But now it's different, and they are, I have to be here for them.
One day in 20 or so years, Bento comes up to you and says, I want to follow in your footsteps. I want to be a fighter. Would you be okay with that?
I wouldn't, but
Why
but
not?
it's his decision, of course. If he say that he wants to do that, I will support him all the way for sure.
Why would you rather he didn't do that?
I'm not sure. I love this sport. I love who I am, but it's a tough sport, man. It's sometimes I'm a I have a lot of success on this sport, but there is so much people. Sometimes people, really good people, on martial arts, and they don't get successful. It's hard. It's a very hard sport, and I want him to pick something something better, something easier, or not easier, but that takes that will not punch him in the face.
Sure. No, I understand. By the way, who's talking to you on the other side of the camera there? I feel like someone's there that you're looking at.
No, I was looking
Oh, okay.
to the sides.
Okay, fair enough.
Sorry.
Well, congratulations on the win. What an exciting fight that was. I'm curious, in the first round, were you surprised that he was able to take those shots? Like, in particular, when you hit him with the body shot, with the spinning back kick, and then it seemed like you got excited, and then he caught you. What is going through your mind? Because to me, it reminded me of this famous fight, Scott Smith and Pete Sell. I don't know if you remember this fight where they punched him in the body, came in and got knocked out. I was like, oh, my God, the same thing's going to happen. What's going through your mind when that happens?
Actually, we were kind of prepared for that. My coach Doria was telling me before of on our preparation. He was telling me if he feels any of your punches or kicks or whatever, don't go that crazy. You have 5 rounds to win this fight, so don't go that crazy. And I was kind of cautious about that, and I was getting closer, and I tried to kick him, and he did exactly what we were expecting, and he tried to punch me, but he didn't connect. He punched the back of my leg.
Okay. At any point in the fight, did he seriously hurt you?
No,
You were
I took a shot here,
Yeah.
but yeah, nothing. I didn't feel anything like, I wasn't dizzy. I was actually feeling good, very good. I was kind of that's normal. You got a little bit nervous, before every fight, because it's very important for us, of course. But during the fight, man, I was feeling great. As soon as I stepped in the cage, I was feeling great, and I was feeling ready to go there and give 100% of me.
I remember when you fought Roy Nelson at UFC 117, you told me in an interview that we did back then that you were going to target his belly. He had the big belly. Did you feel the same about Derek Lewis? Were you trying to target his belly?
Yeah, I like to. Yeah, I like to do that. To hit my opponents on the belly. To mix it up. Head and belly, head and body, because I think it allows me to connect my punches better. And they are not expecting for that. They don't know where the punches are going to hit them. So yeah, it was part of my strategy too. But like I said, I was getting patient. I was getting trying to follow the strategy and see, because he's very dangerous. He has a lot of power. So I couldn't just impose myself the way I want. I couldn't collide against him. I had to have a more, to be smarter.
The finishing sequence, did you initially slap him? It looked to me like you slapped him with your left and then you hit him with the right. Was that a slap?
Yeah, it was kind of a slap. I wasn't trying to slap him or something, I was just trying to position his head in the place that I want.
Wow.
So I was gonna, put your head over here. I want to punch over there.
That's incredible. Have you ever done that before?
Oh yes, I do that a lot, but normally I have my hands closed.
Okay. Has it ever worked that well? Like that was the finishing sequence of a fight?
Yes. Not to finish a fight, but I did connect the punch.
Yeah.
The same right hand, and my opponent felt the.
That's
was
incredible.
Kind of dizzy.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're literally just
It
placing
works.
his head where you want it to be so it could be a target,
Yeah.
and you knock him out.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's a great move. So like I said, that's 3 in a row now for you. And when you fought Cain Velasquez at UFC 155, after that, when you lost your title, it was like 1 win, 1 loss, 1 win, 1 loss. It's been a while since you went on a winning streak. How do you explain this? Because I think everyone was sort of, saying, okay, it's been a nice run for Junior. His chin is no more. He can't take a punch. And now all of a sudden, you have fought 3 very tough guys, hard hitters. You've won them all. How do you explain this winning streak as opposed to what was happening, a few years ago with those alternating wins and losses?
I don't really know. Actually, people, they have sometimes things doesn't work the way you want, and negative things happens in your life. You have to be able to go through those kind of things too, and keep moving forward, keeping looking for what you want. And I knew, man, I was there all the time. Sometimes you got cut during a fight, especially a heavyweight fight, and it can happen with anyone. I was living this weird moment, but I'm feeling great as I was always feeling. Maybe I mentally I allowed myself to have doubts on me, and even with Bento now, I can tell you I cannot allow myself anymore to have doubts.
Huh.
So I have to go there and take care of the job, and whatever happens, whatever I can do, whatever I'm able to do, I have to go there and take care of the job.
So you were starting to doubt yourself a little bit, like your confidence was low?
Kind of, because those things, especially when I fought Velasquez for the 3rd time, you have to learn rest. You have to improve your wrestling. You have to improve to use your ground game or something like that, And I was giving too much attention for that, and I was kind of having that those doubt moments in training, So, man, I have to keep my focus on what I do best, which is knocking people out, and the rest. Of course, I have to train the other things, but it cannot be the main thing, I cannot be worried about that, I have to let it go.
Like in Frozen, she says, let it go.
That's
right?
it. That's it. Let it go.
That's right. I know. I saw you singing backstage as well. The voice is great. I think you should, once you retire, focus on that route. I think it would be great for you.
I said, my gosh, you guys are not posting that thing, But I was too happy, So I had my time.
That's fine. You deserve it. I noticed in the post-fight interview you mentioned UFC. Please give me work. I want to be active. Do you feel like your last fight? When was it? It was in December. Prior to that was July.
December 1st.
Yeah. Do you feel like this isn't enough? Like you want to come back? Less than 3 months in a perfect world, make up for lost time.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want to keep active, on my career, because fighting, like I said before, fighting is not it's not just being aggressive, knowing techniques. It's about timing. And the only way to have the timing of fighting is fighting. So I want to keep fighting. All those times you comment about, that I was winning and losing, this kind of things. I was doing 1 fight per year. That was something bad, for me. So I don't wanna leave those kind of things anymore. So I wanna keep active. and do at least 3 fights per year. But of course, right now, I have to focus on my daughter.
Right, yeah.
After this fight, after this victory, right now I'm gonna take care of my wife and my daughter. After everything is fine here, I make sure she's well and safe. Then I'll start my next training camp for my next fight. Maybe the end of August. Let's
Okay.
see.
It seems like everyone afterwards was saying, let's finally see JDS versus Francis and Gana. You guys were supposed to fight in Edmonton a couple of years ago. Francis tweeted out a thinking emoji afterwards. I don't know if you saw that. What do you think of that fight? Is that what's interesting to you next as far as next opponents?
I don't pick opponents, that. I'm really thinking about everything what's happening in my career right now. And this thing of not picking opponents, I don't think it's a good idea anymore. Because these guys, man, they avoid fighting me all the time. So then when I got relevant, when I got good wins, they want to fight me. I'm not talking about Ngannou, like I said, I don't pick opponents. And let's see. Of course, he can be maybe my next fight or whatever, But this heavyweight division is kind of living an interesting moment.
Yeah.
A lot of good fighters, a lot of potential of good fights, but too much conversation, So let's see what's gonna happen in the future when I'm coming back on August.
I get the sense, Junior, that you're a little frustrated that Brock Lesnar is getting a title shot this summer. It seems like that's what they really want. They're holding out. They're waiting for him. DC's recovering as well. It seems to me like you are always happy. You're always jovial. You're always in a good mood. But it seems like this is annoying for you. Is that accurate?
Kind of, and not really. I don't take that, personally. I don't really care, But the thing is, people are talking about this as a big thing, as a fair thing. It's not a fair thing. It's not. It's not. It's not even. It doesn't make sense. That's the truth. The truth. It doesn't make sense. If he's not even part of this sport anymore, now he's gonna come back and fight for the title. It doesn't make sense. But of course, I understand the side of Daniel Cormier. He's a great champion, and he wants to make money, as we said. Brock Lesnar has great potential to sell a lot of pay-per-views. So, man, probably this fight will happen, and good for them. I hope I'm gonna be watching. The fight for sure. But that's. You don't want me to say that's fair, because that's not.
Sure. No, I mean, this is a guy who hasn't won a fight since 2010, and they're just sitting around waiting for him, and you're out there fighting the top guys. You've won. I mean, if I were you, I would feel upset about this. I would be deflated. The whole point of this game is to climb the ladder and fight for the belt. At this point, you don't know what you're climbing for, because someone who hasn't won since 2010 is getting a title shot. Why? That's not how this is supposed to work, right?
Yeah, but that's true, Ariel. But the thing is, I'm not worried about that. My goal is the belt. I want to be the champion again, and I will be the champion again. But I'm not in a rush. I have my time. I'll fight and I'll beat all these guys if I need to. Again, because I did that in the past. I already fought so many of them. I beat all of them. I had some mistakes in my career. But man, I'm only 35 years old, and I'm full of energy, a lot of power on these hands. So I'm sure my title shot's gonna come at some point. The most important thing right now is to keep active.
Right. Is it weird for you to see what's happened to Cain Velasquez, like to see how his last fight? You guys will always be linked, I think, and here we are in 2019. You're on the 3-fight winning streak. He lost in seconds. He hasn't won a fight now in almost 3 years. Is that weird for you to see?
Kind of, yeah, kind of. I'm not responsible for whatever he does or whatever, I am responsible only for myself. But it's kind of sad, to see the way he lost the last fight, because it was too quick. He didn't have the opportunity to show anything. Well, that's the dangers of any fight, of course. But in the heavyweight division, it's even more dangerous. This kind of possibility. to get hit in and go down at the beginning of the round. So he wasn't able to show anything. I was very curious. I was very curious to see how would be his performance, because man, that guy is, when he fought me, he was kind of Superman. I was feeling him like that because he was putting a lot of pressure on the whole time. No other heavyweight can do that. Maybe Daniel Cormier, because he has the same style. I don't know. But I was very curious about to see that fight, to see his coming back, and he wasn't nice, for him. I was kind of sad to see the way the finish, the fights get finished, but it happens.
And finally, so to be clear, JDS, if they come to you and say we want you versus Ngannou, you're saying yes, right?
Of course, yeah. That's right now, no, because
no, I mean in the summer, right, yes.
Yeah, but when I'm coming back, let's sit down and have that conversation.
Okay, fair enough. For now, focus on your family. Congratulations, JDS, on not just the win, but everything that's happening for you outside of the cage. Very happy for you and your wife. And again, happy birthday. How do you say happy birthday in Portuguese?
Feliz aniversário.
There you go. Well done, my friend. You're a great fighter. You're a better dad. Much appreciate the time as always, JDS. Enjoy it.
Thank you very much, Ariel. It's a pleasure to be talking with you again, and have a good one.
Same to you and your family. Okay, there he is, Junior Sagano, one of the top contenders again at heavyweight. Who would have thought in 2019 we'd be saying that Kane would be the guy who has not fought since 2016, and JDS is on some kind of roll. Great win for him Saturday in Wichita. Okay, let's move along now to our next guest as we continue to roll here. I have not talked to our next guest in quite some time, at least officially on the program, and I saw him at the open workouts on Thursday before UFC 235, and I said, my word, there he is, the living legend, Greg Jackson himself. I've not seen you in years. I've not talked to you in years. You're back. And so I said I had to have him back on the program. There he is. He's a very busy man, but he's carved out some time for us on this Monday morning. Greg, how are you?
I'm well, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to see you again. You look very relaxed over there. Are you taking a nap? What's going on?
Yeah, instead of working, I find napping to be a much better way to spend my day.
Well, you're a very busy man, so like I said, I appreciate you giving us some time. But honestly, when I saw you at the open workouts with the whole team there for John, it sort of occurred to me, I've not seen you at one of those in a while. And then I spoke to you in the interest of transparency. I spoke to you a little bit off to the side, and you were talking to me about the little break that you took. So I wanted to explore that a little bit. Why did you take a bit of a break from being at all the events, cornering all the guys? Because you used to be at an event every single weekend, it seemed.
Yeah, I certainly did. Well, since like 95, I guess I was pretty well somewhere around there. Anyway, after about a lot of years of doing it at a very kind of intense pace, I needed to kind of take a little break. I was still doing big fights here and there and still at the gym, still training, but I got a little burned out, to be honest with you. Just so many fights after fight after fight. I finally hit my wall, and I had to step back a little bit, take some deep breaths. Still, I love the martial arts so much. I love MMA so much. It's been so good to me that I was still involved in it, but not at the intensity that I needed to be. And then, this last little bit, I've been coming back again, feeling that love again, and it feels really nice to kind of be back in the swing of things, so to speak.
So as far as the hitting of the wall, do you remember when that happened? When that caught up to you?
It wasn't one like specific, like, okay, now this is it. It was a gradual thing where I just, I was going through the motions and I've done it so much that I could still be effective at my job, but I wasn't as effective as I should be. And so kind of getting over that hump. But I think everybody goes through that in their job. If you've been doing it long enough, whatever your job is,
right,
you just hit that wall sometimes where you're like, oh my Lord, I'm sure you get tired of talking to people at some point. And
yes,
if you haven't yet, you will be at some point. So just having that, I think it's a very human thing to go through that experience. I was just proud that I could do it at the level I did for as long as I did without going through that. And then it was my time and I went through it, and now I'm having fun again.
Was it starting to feel a little more like a job as opposed to like what you truly love, like what you're passionate about?
I think it always kind of feels like a job, and it always feels like what I'm passionate about. But I think apathy is the biggest thing, where you just need to take a step back and go, wow, This pace, especially the travel, being in a different country or a different state every weekend. It's basically 7 days a week going all the time. It gets to you, and it certainly got to me. So I'm not too upset about going through that, because I think it's something I had to go through. I'm just glad that I get to be back, and I didn't lose that love forever.
Yeah, seeing a picture now of you with John Jones and your longtime friend, and I guess you could call him colleague and business partner, Mike Winklejohn. Do you talk to Mike about this? Like when you're feeling this, hey, Mike, you ever go through this? You ever feel this way? Did you talk to any of your other coaches about these feelings that you were experiencing?
Yeah, especially Mr. Winklejohn, and just he really picked up the slack for me while I was not as effective as I could have been. So I'm always grateful to him. He's a great mentor, and I call him Big Bro because he always looks after me. So I'm super grateful for him and everything that he's done for me, especially while I was kind of down and out a little bit. So just gratitude, and then all the other coaches. I have such great coaches. They're such good people, like from Brandon Gibson all the way down, all of them, Izzy Style, there's so many to name. They're luckily I have a good eye for talent. So they were able to keep us going. So when I pull these coaches in, they were able to stay strong for me. So it was cool. It was great. It was good to have those guys kind of, step up and really help me out. And now I'm back to help them out.
Did you take a break from the gym as well? Did you coach less guys?
No, that was still going on. I was still coaching, but I wasn't coaching as effectively as I should have been, and I wasn't traveling as much either. So, there's repercussions for that, obviously. But as burned out as I was, I couldn't be completely self-centered and leave everybody just hanging. You know what I mean? So,
sure.
I just had to be patient and find my love again, and then I did.
How long did this last?
About 75 years,
okay,
give or take. No, it's been going on. I'd say for a couple of years it's been going on, where I'd get a little bit back and then fall back, then get a little bit back and then fall. It's been the last couple. Well, I mean, how long it has been since we talked? Probably around then.
Yeah, it's been since 2016. I looked at my records. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, so about 2 years. That's about right. Yep.
So there got to a point where I was like, I feel like I'm bothering Greg. Like, I feel like he doesn't really want to do this, like the interview stuff, the media stuff. So that's why I sort of left you alone for a little bit.
Well, I mean, to be clear, I never enjoy the media. I love you, but I've never loved like interviews. It's like, why would anybody want to talk to me? I still don't get it. But I'm very happy to talk about the martial arts and MMA in particular. So, I'm always down for that. And
so I feel like I know what you're going to say when I bring this up, but I'll bring it up anyway, because I was even talking about it last week on the show, coming off the great weekend that your team had at UFC 235 with John Jones and Diego Sanchez. But there was a time, as I'm sure you know, that people were sort of celebrating the demise of Jackson Wink, talking about this winless streak and whatnot. And now, and I didn't know about all this, but now when I think back and I think about how you guys are doing now and how it seems like you're back on track kicking butt, I wonder if there's a correlation between what you're saying and the streak and now how you're feeling and the good times that the team is experiencing. Do you get what I'm saying? And I feel like I know how you're going to respond to this, but I feel like there's a correlation there.
Correlation is not causation. I forget the exact phrase, but no, we've definitely been through winless streaks before. And that's the thing, is like, it's been the end of Jackson Wink's, I don't know how many times, right. Starting with, I think we had a one winless summer, and I'll never forget, I bring this quote up all the time, but it was the first time I had ever really dealt with, us losing fights in a row for a couple of months. And they said we went from the heights of Rome to the burning of Pompeii in like 3 months or so. I just remember. And then after that, when it happened again and again and again, it's cyclical. I mean, we all go through where we're kicking butt, and we all go through where we can't win anything. So it's never really going to be the end of Jackson Wink, I think, as long as we're around and having fun with it. And so certainly, listen, in 5 more years, we might go through another streak where we don't win for a little while. It might be next month. But in the aggregate, overall, we have a very good record, and we have a lot of fun doing it. So everybody can celebrate the ending all they want. And somehow, after 25 years or whatever it's been, I'm still here. So I encourage, I should say, people to continue to enjoy the end of us, and we will continue to trudge on.
Do you get the sense that the fighters pay attention to that stuff? Like, does the mood kind of go up and down when the team is on those streaks?
I don't think so. I think if anything, it motivates them to be the guy to break the streak.
Gotcha.
And And like I said, remember, it's not just me. Like we've been in these streaks with me here, like me at the helm, like trying to do everything all the time. We still go on these terrible streaks. It just seems to go in these weird cycles. I've never really figured out a rhyme and reason to it, but I do know it is very cyclical. We go through these cycles where we win everything all the time, and then where we win, we still win, but not as much. And then when we have bad weeks or months or whatever, we don't win anything, and then we're back to normal. So it's pretty well, after all these years, it's pretty well par for the course, going over and over and over that cycle again. I like the winning part, obviously.
You have known John. We're looking at you and John for quite some time. He has been through a lot. He has been through his ups and downs. Is John Jones in 2019 a different person? Do you feel like he's turned the corner? Has he learned from his transgressions? Because things are going really well. Have you sensed a change in him behind the scenes?
He certainly is seeming a lot more mature and a lot more laid back. I think when you're young, you do crazy stuff. We all do. It's just he is a huge public figure and made some choices that I'm sure he's not proud of, as we all have when we were younger. So I think he's starting to mature now. I think he's starting to grow and kind of come into his own. And certainly everything I've seen is evidence to that. Even behind the scenes, he seems a lot more mature, a lot more thoughtful. And yeah, we're just lucky he's here.
He is one of the most famous athletes. In fact, I saw you at the University of New Mexico women's basketball game, hyping up the crowd. That was a great moment there. I didn't know that you had that in you. And it was really cool that they were honoring you like that.
Well, for me, it's the New Mexico experience. It's one thing that I do just kind of free of charge. I take 3 local New Mexico businesses, or like the Lobos or somebody like that, which is our local college team. And then I go and try to pump them up. And we go like this last time in Vegas, I went to Nellis Air Force Base and tried to talk to all the people that go to Kirtland Air Force Base, which is our local Air Force Base here in Albuquerque. When you come to Albuquerque, don't stay on base. Come spend your money and your time here in Albuquerque and New Mexico. So I try to be an ambassador for my city and my state as much as I can, just to help out a little bit. It gives me a cause.
Absolutely. And you are a great one. I think a lot of people associate your team as sort of like the home team in Albuquerque, and John is one of, if not the faces of the team. When it was not going well, in hindsight, was there ever any discussions of maybe cutting ties because you are so well known in that community and you are a fixture that you guys are in the local news? There's a lot of bad things being discussed about him and the team as a result. Did you guys ever think that the juice wasn't worth the squeeze anymore?
No, John's my friend. I would never turn my back on a friend like that. That's just not what I do. So nope. Try to help him out and get him to a place where he can make better decisions. That's what I'm about. I'm definitely not about like, oh, see you later, have a good one. Like that. That's not. There are times where you have to do that. I mean, there are people that do such terrible things that there's no choice, and they don't want to improve their life. I'm a huge guy for second chances too. People gave me second chances when maybe they shouldn't have, and so I'm a big guy for believing in second chances. And as long as you're trying to do better and trying to improve, I'm going to stick with you. The second you give up on yourself, though, like if you, especially addiction and stuff, that's a battle that you have to go through and then come back. But there are times, like especially dealing with hardcore addiction, that they have to find their way out of it. There's nothing you can do for them.
Back in the day, you had a very famous Canadian who used to travel to your gym. His name is George St Pierre, and of course he retired very recently. Favorite George St Pierre memory? I think it was actually in Albuquerque where he claims to have seen that UFO way back when. I'm not sure if you were
right,
with.
He did.
Right? Am I right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. He was staying at my house at the time and was worried that the aliens might come in through the skylight that I had in the room.
Legit. He was legit worried about this?
Well, we were joking about it, so you'd have to ask him how legit it was, but we were certainly joking about it. So I think there's a lot of he actually called me when he retired before he announced it and said that. What a great guy. Like, who does that?
Yeah.
Just called to say thanks for all that stuff. I mean, he's just such an amazing dude. I was so lucky to work with him for so long. I'm very, very grateful for that. I have so many great memories. I couldn't name one. Most people do the hit him with his groin memory as their favorite of our time together. But there were certainly a lot of them. And, I just cherish the time that I had with him. How lucky am I to work with both him and John Jones, two of the greatest of all time. And I get to be there in their prime. Like that's something else. I just sometimes have to pinch myself and wow, like I really get to do this.
Yeah. What did he say to you when he called you?
He just thanked me. Like, it was weird. He was just saying, thanks for all the all the knowledge and time you put in. And yeah, he's just basically, we talked for like half an hour and he was just grateful. Like, who does that? He's such a humble, good dude. Like, good Lord, like it's very rare you meet an athlete like that is that good of a person.
I spoke to his manager the day he announced his retirement, and he told me that George wrote a list of every single person that was influential in his life as a martial artist, from like his first manager, coaches, training partners, and called every single one that day. So, I mean, if he spent 30 minutes with you, imagine how much time he devoted to all this, but it was very important for him to call every single one. That blew me away. I've never heard of anyone doing that before.
What a great guy. What else could you say? Like, to be on that list is an honor, and what a great guy to even do that.
Yeah. By the way, was it nice for you? I don't know if you were actually there, but I saw Rashad and John have a moment in Vegas before John's fight. Were you there for that? Did you see it?
I wasn't there for that. I see Rashad and say hi to him all the time, and we're very cool. But I'm glad they had a moment. I'm glad that's good, because
you guys are good now.
I'd like to. Oh yeah, okay. That's been good for a long time.
How are we going to fix the Cerrone situation? How are we going to get that one back on track?
Well, Cerrone and I are still very close. Like, I hang out with, like when we were in Australia for Landon Venata's fight, we hung out the entire time. So Cowboy and I are still very close. But him and Wink are still not getting along. So hopefully down the road, those guys can bury the hatchet. I'm an optimist, so I hope they get along again.
And then who would have thought in 2019, Greg, that Diego Sanchez, the original Ultimate Fighter, would be doing this? Come on. Did you believe this? This is amazing.
I did. I have a lot of faith in Diego, and just seeing him get back to his roots, what made him, he's kind of fighting like the old Diego again. Yeah, there he is. Look how young we are. Holy cow. So sometimes I see pictures. I'm so old. Anyway, it was really cool to work with him in that kind of a fight where he's, determined and is able to put his ground and pound and takedowns together. So it was a lot of fun. I can't wait to do it again.
Is there a future John Jones, a future Rashad, GSP, Holly Holm at the gym right now that you're very excited about, that's maybe not in the UFC, that you really have high hopes for?
Well, here's the thing I've learned about it is I have high hopes for these guys. And then if they're great in the cage, something outside the cage takes them down. If they're really great in the cage, they get it. So I never say anymore, this is the guy. This is the guy to look at, just because I don't want to put expectations on them, or myself putting expectations on them. I want to kind of take my emotions out of it, believe in everybody, and then just devote myself to the process, and we'll see what shakes out. So yeah, we've got a lot of potential, but many a slip between a cup and a lip, as they say. Okay.
And are you still working with officers? Are you still doing that? And for what exactly do you do these days?
Well, that is out for free. I also do defensive tactics training. So I've done the Albuquerque Police Department, Massachusetts State Police, Michigan State Police. I still work with a lot of special forces groups. So the deal there is actually trying to remove the violence from a lot of what they do, focusing on control, teamwork, that kind of stuff to try to minimize the violence to the subject. So it's cool because it's a reverse engineering. Instead of trying to activate this kind of violent modality where you're trying to finish a person, you're trying to just control the person and get them into handcuffs, which of course is your job as a police officer. And then if you get into trouble, we do a little, okay, this is how I get myself. I now need to escalate the situation. But using kind of a force array idea, verbal commands, de-escalation, and then getting into positions where you're working as a cohesive unit, not individually. Unless you're a state police officer, then you have to work individually to get them in control and handcuffs, et cetera, et cetera. That's been a lot of fun for me, just to kind of devote myself to that process as well.
Well, I must say, Greg, it warms my heart to catch up with you again. It has been too long.
Yeah,
Please don't do this again. Don't disappear on us for 3 years.
I'll try my best. I'll give you a warning sign. I'm getting burned out. Help.
All right. And I would be happy to help you. But no, it's great to see you back. It's great to see you having that love again and out at the events. And the team is doing great. Congrats on all the success. Appreciate the time as always. And hopefully we'll talk again in less than 3 years' time.
Thanks, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. There he is. One of my favorite people in the game, Greg Jackson, a real mensch. Great to talk with him. Great to have him on the program. And again, congrats to the team at Jackson Wink for their recent success. They have a big fight coming up with Michelle Watterson, among many others, later this month. All right, some big news broke this past weekend. Anthony Smith, who fought John Jones at UFC 235, is not taking any time off. He is returning on June 1st in Stockholm against Stockholm's own Alexander Gustafsson. Whoa, where did this come from? Anthony Smith, there he is. Great to talk to you, Anthony. I appreciate the time.
How you doing, Ariel?
It's really good to have you back on the show. I'm doing very well, and I didn't expect to be talking to you, 8 days or 9 days after 235 about your next fight that's already booked. Could you tell us how this all came about? When were you first approached about fighting Gustafsson in Stockholm on June 1st?
Tuesday.
Okay.
And from what I understand, it was offered earlier than that, but Jim waited a day or so. And here we are. Time to go again, I suppose.
And Jim being your manager, Jim Walter, so I heard it was around Monday or so I guess he gave you some time to digest what happened in Las Vegas. What was your reaction when you already got your next booking? I mean, were you expecting that so soon?
No, I didn't want to. I didn't want to fight that soon. But again, man, I mean everything that I say, and I don't turn down fights. And I suppose after this one, I'll probably have to change my number so that they can't call. But I'm just not a fan of turning down opportunities. I'm still processing the John Jones fight, but I guess there's no better way to get it behind me than to just move forward, I guess.
In a perfect world, when did you want to return?
January.
Oh, wow. You wanted to take the whole year off?
Yeah.
How come?
I've been in training camp 40 of the last 60 weeks, and this will be my 6th fight in 15 months. And I don't know, man. I miss my family. And I do other shit, and I don't know. I just wanted a break, but this is what I do. It's the only thing I know how to do. It's what I'm best at, and I still have that fire in my stomach after the John fight. I've never had a performance where I didn't feel like I left everything in there. Obviously, I've had losses, but I never felt like it was for lack of performance. You make mistakes and you get caught, or it just doesn't go your way. But I just feel like I have a lot left to give, and I don't feel like like leading up to the fight, I always tend to get a little bit, I don't know, cranky or edgy, or and that's just how it goes. And then you fight and you got to take all that out, all that extra anxiety or frustration or whatever you have left in you. You kind of burn that in the fight, and I don't feel like I did, and I still have it.
Did the UFC tell you or your manager why they really wanted you, despite the fact that you wanted some time off, you just fought, why they really wanted you for this date, this fight?
No, I didn't ask.
Okay.
I just, they offered the fight, and Gustafsson's a guy that I always want. He's probably the only guy that I would have stayed for. I seen Blachowicz, wanting to fight on Twitter, and I didn't even register it. Like wasn't even anything that interested me. It just I want to fight Gus, and I think that's the only fight that would have kept me around for a while, and I think the UFC knows that.
And so just from afar here, speaking to you about it for the first time, and hearing what you have to say, and just sort of feeling your demeanor, it doesn't feel, at least right now, and I know it's very fresh, that you're overly enthused about this. Like you don't seem, I talk to a lot of people who just accepted a big fight and they're sort of, beaming. You're not giving off that vibe, and I, quite frankly, very much understand it. Could you describe what's going through your body right now on this Monday? Again, like I said, just 9 days after you lost the title fight.
I think in a few weeks, I'll feel a lot better about it and excited about the next step. But I'm still processing the John fight. I'm not a good loser, and it's really frustrating, and it's been driving me crazy. And I'm not excited to have to leave my family again. This whole game is about sacrifices, and it's about doing things that you don't want to do. But it's real easy for all these idiots on the internet to talk about how badass they are taking fights when their gym is 20 minutes from their fucking house. Mine's in Denver, and that's how I have to do it. And it's a sacrifice, but I'm not necessarily real excited to spend another 7 or 8 weeks away from my kids.
Have you considered moving your family to Denver?
No, man, it took me a long time to get to a position where I could get my kids in the school district that we're in, and I had to do that before they started school. So, you know, I didn't have a bunch of super close friends that I grew up with from kindergarten all the way through high school, and you know, I don't know, it would be temporary anyways. You know, if we moved there, it'd just be until my career was over, and then we'd move back. And I don't want to move them schools twice and have them be the new kid in school twice, and I don't know, it's just tough, you know. So I'll make the sacrifice and I'll do it, but I don't want to put that on them because of what I'm doing.
Have you watched the Jones fight yet?
Yeah, 9 times.
9 times. Wow. What do you see when why didn't it go your way? What went wrong in that fight? What are you learning from it as you're watching it?
That my approach was just bad, you know. John does. I'm kind of a counter striker, you know. Like I do press forward and I push the action, but a lot of my attacks are off of counters, and John doesn't really throw combos. So that was the one thing that I keep picking up, is that I just couldn't adjust to that, you know. And for whatever reason, I just couldn't pull the trigger. And, you know, I'm usually pretty good at just saying fuck it and going, but I just, for whatever reason, you know, I was just overthinking it, and just, I don't know. It's really frustrating to watch, and it almost makes it worse the more I watch it. Just kind of just kept thinking, like, what the hell are you doing? You know, like I'm the guy, like, I'll go out on my sword if I have to. It wasn't for fear of what I was going to run into. That doesn't bother me at all. It just, I don't know. I don't know. I can't figure it out.
First pay-per-view main event for you, title fight. In hindsight, do you think the moment got to you?
No, I don't think so. All the way through the entire fight week, I felt good. It felt like a normal fight. Even when we got in the octagon, I felt really, really good. You know, the warm-up was really good. I was confident. My head was in the right spot. I just think my approach sucked. You know, I didn't do anything that we were planning on doing. And honestly, I know that it sounds like I'm just putting it all on me, but a lot of that's John. I mean, he's good. He's everything that everyone said that he was. And he's everything that I expected. I expected to do more. And, you know, he was just hard to counter. He was hard. His variance was really high. He never gave any reads or tells. Everything kind of looked the same. You know, and regardless of what anybody says, it's hard to dodge a bullet and then try to counter it, you know? So you got to be defensive and cover it first. And by the time it was time to counter it, he was already back in position. You know, he did a really good job of never really being out of position. The first round, I think he thought he was just going to kind of roll over me, and he got a little wild, and then Greg Jackson reeled him back in. You know, that's something that gets missed a little bit with John too. Not only is he a great athlete, but he's coached really, really well. So, you know, something I noticed while we were in there, that if Greg or Wink weren't talking, John wasn't doing anything. You know, he's very receptive to those guys, and he's like a robot, you know, like they call out the command and he reacts. So definitely hats off to their team and to John, but I definitely think that a lot of it was the lack of what I did, not just what John did.
How much did the illegal knee hurt you?
There we go, teeing me up to make an excuse.
Okay, so stop right there. I don't want you to make any excuses. I think I've already said it publicly. I would have called off the fight then. A. B, I feel like the game let you down in that regard, because here you are being applauded for being honorable, for being a warrior, for not taking the DQ. That knee sounded...
Well, hold on.
Okay.
That's the part that pisses me off.
That's what pisses me off too.
This world is so crazy. Like, I don't need a pat on the back for doing the right thing. And it's like when you see people like, oh my God, look how good of a dad he is. You're supposed to be involved in your children's life. Like, you're supposed to take care of your kids. You're supposed to love your wife. You're supposed to do all those things, and you're supposed to do the right thing when it comes down to not taking the coward's way out. And I don't need a pat on the back for that. That's why I haven't talked about it, because I just think I did the right thing. There was never an opportunity for me to make a choice to not continue. Honest to God, the only thing I asked the referee was how much time was on the clock. That's all I cared about. I didn't know how much time was left, and that's what I needed to know. And he wouldn't even tell me that. So, there was never an option. I was more pissed off that I took the knee because I was stuck on the bottom for like 2.5 or 3 minutes trying to get up without taking a knee, and I took it anyways. So then I was kind of chewing my own ass, like, well, that's what you get for being a pussy. Like, you should have just stood up, taken the knee if it came, and then got back to your feet. But, it was almost like I kind of felt like I just punished myself. Like, I guess that's what you get for hanging out, trying to be slick,
Why didn't you get, an update on how much time was left? Why didn't he tell you?
I don't know. I just kept asking. The doctor came in and he said he wanted to know what day it was. And it wasn't that I didn't know what day it was. It was just, that's such a stupid question. Like, I'm standing across the octagon from arguably one of the greatest of all time in the middle of a fist fight on a Saturday night in the biggest moment of my whole life. And you're trying to talk to me about what fucking day it is. Like, it's not even a question that registers with you when they ask you. It's not that you don't know it. It's that your brain isn't prepared to answer those kind of questions in that moment. And then he went out of there and I was just annoyed and I was just ready to get going. I just needed to know how much time was on the clock. Because honestly, I would have taken a minute. Like, had we had, I don't know, 2.5 minutes left in the round, like I would have taken a little bit longer. I would have waited and cleared my head a little bit. But if it was like 10 seconds, then whatever, we'll just finish the round and I'll go sit down. So that's all I wanted to know. It had nothing to do with I just wanted to know how much time was left.
So here's what bothers me about the situation. To me, it sounded like a ball hitting an aluminum bat. And what if you really couldn't stand, if you couldn't see, if you were truly hurt to the point where you were concussed, you were knocked out? Everyone would have ripped you, right? They would have said you were a coward, you were a weasel, etc. That's the rule. You can't land an illegal knee. So that's why I feel like the game let you down. In no other sport other than combat sports is it on the athlete who's been wronged to decide whether or not he can continue. And I made the analogy of the NFC Championship game. I know it's not apples to apples, but the Saints and Rams, right? There's that pass interference play. Well, it's not on the Saints to say, wait a second, I've been roughed up here. It's on the referee to decide. So to me, it should be on them to decide whether or not you can continue. And if they say you can't, then you can't. It's so unfair for you to be put in that position and decide. It's not like you're not the guy who's looking for the easy way out, but they're literally all staring at you and saying, can you continue? And if you do, you're a warrior. Well, guess what? Warrior doesn't send your kids to school or put food on the table. You're just trying to go out there and do your job. And now you've just been precluded from doing your job because you've just been seriously hurt illegally and maybe even twice in the same round. That's what bothers me. So that's what I wasn't setting you up to make an excuse. I feel for you in that position because you were damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Yeah, I didn't have enough time to really process all that. It was really, I just wanted to get to my feet, it was a hard knee. You know what I mean? It was a hard knee, but I got a pretty hard head. And once once the cobwebs were cleared, I was ready to go. It wasn't that I couldn't fight. The question is, was I as good mentally after the knee as I was before? I mean, no. It's a fight, had my hand come up, that was a totally legal knee, and I'd have been in the same position. So, I just don't want that to be the narrative. It's the same thing with the PD thing and the knee, and it's all bullshit to me. I'm more mad that I didn't win the world title. I would have never ever have taken a title like that. Like I would have never felt like the champion. I would have never. In my head, there was still time on the clock and I still had a round to go. I wasn't ready to give it up,
And so when you're watching this fight over and over again, is there any point where you're like, man, I shouldn't have continued, or you have no regrets about that decision?
No, I don't. No regrets, man. It happened the way that it happened. And, it is what it is. And I'll figure out a way to deal with it. But as far as continuing and going to the fifth round and finishing the fight, and I wouldn't say I'm happy with it, but I have no regrets, man. I didn't really have like people keep saying like that I made the decision. There was never a decision. It wasn't like, well, should I continue? Should I not? Should I? It's just, let's just fight. Let's just go.
Okay. By the way, why have you watched it so many times in the span of 9 days? Is that typical for you after after a loss?
No, I got wins and losses that I've never watched again.
Wow.
I don't know. I can't shake this one. A lot of it's because I didn't perform, and I just don't know why. Like, I'm not always saying that I perform the best because I got a lot of ugly fights, and that's just how I fight. But I've just never not performed in general. You know, like I that's one thing that I've always been really proud of. Everyone can say like Anthony Smith always shows up, and I didn't, and it's just driving me crazy.
Considering how you're feeling, and considering that you said that you wanted, to come back in January, are you worried about this camp? Like, are you dreading it? Are you worried that you won't be in the right mental space as you travel to Sweden to fight one of the best fighters in the world?
No, not at all, man. I'm ready to get this. I'm ready to wipe this loss out of my mind right now. That's so. I knew that. I knew that it was going to take a few more weeks, but I know that, if I would have turned down the Gustafsson fight and someone else would have got it in 2 weeks, I would have regretted that. Like I know that in a couple weeks I'll be okay and I'll be ready to get back on the horse and I'll be, I would have been excited about having a fight and ready to redeem myself and get that monkey off my back and just get back to work. I just knew it was going to take a couple weeks, so I'm not necessarily super pumped about it like this second, but in a couple weeks, once all this other stuff clears up in my head a little bit, I'll be ready to roll.
How does your wife feel about it?
She's actually the one that made the decision.
Really?
I've been on this weird, like kind of weird schedule, like rotation. So that the last 3 years I fought like at the end of the summer. So I've trained through the entire summer. And then I'm, like we do a lot of outdoor stuff here and camp and fish and just spend a lot of time outside. So I've missed a lot of that the last 2 or 3 years. So then, I can fight at the beginning of the summer and then I can take the rest of the year off. So I'll be able to enjoy all of June, all of July, all of August, going into September. So, and that was the one holdup was I just wasn't ready to leave. I got about 5 weeks or 4 weeks at home, and that just wasn't enough for me. And she understands that, and she knows that I mean, call me a pussy. I'm homesick.
Yeah.
It sucks, and she suggested like maybe we just grind one more time, and then you just take off the rest of the year. And once she was kind of on board, and I wasn't even really considering it at first, but once she was on board and supportive and she was willing to make the sacrifice as well, we kind of looked at the schedule and figured out what camp would look like, and she was in.
Listen, I admire your honesty. I get homesick when I have to leave for 1 day, so I can't imagine, having to be gone for 3 months. And you don't go home in the middle of camp, right? You stay there the entire time?
No, I come home every weekend.
Oh, okay. Well, that's that's better than nothing.
Yeah, so I get home like 11:30 Friday night, and then I leave Monday morning at 6.
Wow. And you're doing that for like 7 or so weeks? How long are you doing that for?
Yeah, I've done that every single weekend of every camp I've had since I've been with Mark Montoya. I've never missed a weekend. Wow.
That is unbelievable. And not just the fact that you have to do that every time. That must be tiring in its own right.
Yeah, it can get like that, but I think that I'm missing missing that weekend, that following week. There's no way that I'd be focused in camp, because I'd just be pissed off that I didn't go home. So I think that mentally it would mess with me more if I didn't do it. But I mean, I'm used to it by now. I've been doing it for 2.5 years.
Right.
So I can pretty much tell you all the cool places to go and damn near every airport around. So that's cool.
Have you ever felt this way, a week or so after a fight before, or do you feel like because of how big this you were training your whole life for this, and not to say that you won't get this opportunity again, you are still very young in this sport, you're still very young in the game, but have you ever has it ever lingered for this long? And not to say that it's even been that long, but here we are 9 days later. Is this all foreign to you?
No, I'm a really bad loser. I'm really hard on myself, and it's not, like I've always said, it's not about me. rewatching the fight, I keep seeing Usman, like that's what happened, like that fight was right before mine. So I keep seeing Usman, standing in there with his daughter, just like realizing his dreams, and I just let everybody down. Everyone put so much time into me, and there was just so many people that were supportive, and my kids deserve that. They sacrifice a lot. I'm gone a lot. My family deserves it, and it just didn't. I'm just heartbroken. That's what it comes down to. Like, I mean, it's disappointing and whatever, but yeah, I'm just really heartbroken that I let everybody down. I have so many friends and supporters, and there was so many people in Vegas, and I don't know. I just fucked up. I just let everyone down. So this one definitely hurts more than any of the other ones. But I don't take losing very well, and it's not really about me. It's just about the people that care and that just believe in me. That especially this fight. I mean, there was so many haters and people that were saying I was going to get walked through, and I didn't deserve to be there. Like, and all my supporters stick up for me, because I don't really deal with this shit. I don't really care, but it hurts everyone else's feelings, the people that support me, and I let those people down, and that's the worst part. I let Mark down, I let Scott down. Jim put so much work and time into my career, and I let him down. And I don't know, man. That's the hardest part. It's just everyone else is sad, and that kills me.
I haven't talked to all those people, but something tells me if I did today, next week, next month, they would all tell me that you didn't let them down. We need more people like you in this game, Anthony. You're a real representation of what makes MMA so great. So hopefully, you take some time to deal with this, and quite honestly, I feel bad bothering you with all these questions. You certainly deserve all the time that you need. You fought a great fight. You went the distance with arguably the greatest of all time. Nothing to be ashamed about, in my opinion. So you're a class act, my man. I hope that this training camp goes smoothly. You get that fight out of the way, and then you get to enjoy your time with your family. You certainly deserve it. Always appreciate you coming on. Like I said, we need more people like you in this game, and it's really an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to have you on the show so many times over the past year. So it's really great.
Thanks a lot, man. Here in a couple weeks, once I get out of my feelings, I'll come back on and we can have a funner conversation.
No problem. I appreciate it, Anthony. Thank you so much.
Take care, brother.
All right, there he is, Anthony Smith, Lionheart Smith. Wow, an amazingly honest interview, and I know that he said he's in his feelings and he's not feeling like himself, not in the best of moods. But in a weird way, that is what is so special about this game, that you can have someone come on and be that honest and express himself, and now want to get right back on the horse and travel to Sweden and fight one of the greatest light heavyweights of all time. Such a unique individual. And I say unique for other sports, not necessarily unique for our sport. There are a lot of Anthony Smiths in this game, and that's what I love about doing this particular show, and why I love this sport so much, and the fighters in particular. I mean, that's just incredible stuff. How can you not be a fan of that man? Unbelievable. Appreciate his time very much, and hope that the training camp goes very well. All right, let's move along now and turn our attention to this weekend. The UFC is back in London. One of the fights that I'm looking forward to involves that man, Joseph Duffy. He meets Mark Giacchese on Saturday at the O2 Arena. It has been a while since we've talked to Irish Joe. Joseph, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks, Ariel. Yourself?
I'm doing great. Thank you for your patience. I really appreciate it. It's great to have you on the program. So we have not seen you in action, Joe, since November of 2017, and now I'm getting worried. Is your fight happening? Because if I go to UFC.com, yours is the only one that's not listed. What's going on over there?
I got no idea. I don't know whether it was. I don't know. Maybe it was the last one added to the card or something, but I'm on it anyway, Ariel, as far as I know.
Okay, good to know. And you're in Wales right now?
I am. I'm down with the family here. I flew in. Me and Mandel, we flew in here yesterday, and just came down and chilled with the family for a few days before I head up tomorrow.
Are you referring to the infamous rat garbage?
I am, surely. Here's the man himself.
Wow, the legend in the flesh. Rat garbage in Wales. Wow, that's amazing. Why Wales? You have family there?
Yeah, all my family are still living here, Ariel. So just call down, stay there for a couple of days, get adjusted, and then head up to London fresh, ready for the week.
Okay, so for those that don't know, why has it been, almost a year and a half since you last fought? We last saw you in New York of, when was it? November of 2017. Why has it been such a delay for you?
It's been a while. I had shoulder surgery, had a torn labrum that's been for a while, so it got to the point where I just needed to get it sorted. I was getting to the point where I couldn't throw a jab properly, I couldn't throw hooks. So that was the main reason. And then I was due to fight December, and I got injured a couple of weeks out. Got a rib injury in my last bar again, and that was it. Put me out. So here we are in London. I'm just grateful to be back.
I have heard, I've never experienced it before, but I've heard that rib injuries are the absolute worst. What was yours like?
Faster more than anything, because it just limited everything I was doing. I couldn't wrestle. I couldn't strike properly. I could only really throw my right hand. That was it. Like I couldn't use the left. I couldn't kick. So it was just so limiting. That was the main issue, because the fight I would have had, he was a good wrestler, and I wouldn't have been able to wrestle. So.
And as I mentioned, the last fight that we saw you in against James Vick, that was the first time that you've ever been TKO'd or KO'd in a fight. And the fact that you've had to sit on that for an extended period of time, for almost a year and a half, what has that been like for you?
I think it's always hard, like being out with injuries anyway, but sitting on a loss makes it worse. You have a bit too much time to yourself, and you go in your head, and you have them dark days. But once I could get back training and I could do bits and pieces, obviously, that's it. You can keep your mind active then, and you're not beating yourself up too much. But obviously, I'm looking forward to putting that right this weekend.
You've had some time now to digest it, but I'm curious, for someone like you, with your background also in the sport of boxing, dealing with that loss, that kind of loss for the first time, what was that like? How long did it take for you to get over that?
General Ariel, I think any loss is always hard to take. If you're very competitive, then you don't want to lose. Every time you train, you don't want to lose a round. That's just how it is. There was good days, there was bad days. Obviously, with the injury, there's very dark days. Where you're doubting, your confidence is low, and everything else. But sure, I lost a million times before. I've been fighting since I was 6 years old, and you just got to keep getting back on that horse and until you get to the point you want to be at.
I was listening to an interview that you had with my good friend Petey on his Eurobash podcast, and you said that you've changed your mindset a little bit as far as preparing for fights, as far as training for fights. What did you mean by that? How have you changed?
I found even just the style I was fighting, I was kind of like, I was trying to be too busy all the time, Me and Mandel, we sat backstage watching GSP in Madison Square Garden. I realized I was trying to work for every second of the fight, and that's the way I've been for a while. 15 minutes, and I'm trying to be busy doing something every second of the fight. So I just kind of took the pressure off myself, and just give myself a bit more room to let my game happen, and not to put as much pressure on myself, and just experiment and let things happen.
So that was something that you actually learned that night, the night of the loss, just watching GSP. You had a revelation?
That was it. We were sitting watching George, and we both looked at each other, were like, it was, why am I working so hard? I'm working 10 times harder with less of the payoff. So that was a big eye opener.
And so as far as applying that to your training and to your training camp in particular, how does that change? Because I would imagine it's easy to say that, right? It's easy to actually say, but to actually put it into practice, how do you do that?
I suppose you got to find the right distance to be fighting at, and I just try to make them adjustments. Don't, again, be doing something every second of the round, like picking the right shots at the right times, rather than just throwing something for the sake of throwing it.
Okay. How do you feel about this matchup against Mark? Do you like it?
I like fighting Ariel, so I like the matchup. But obviously he's a dangerous fighter. Always in exciting fights, always in tough fights. Everybody he's fought against, he's give a tough fight to. So I'm looking forward to it. Again, it's another great test, and I look forward.
Are you expecting to maybe meet what's the word, a desperate fighter? This is a fighter who was undefeated and then recently lost his last 3 in a row. He's on a 3-fight losing streak. And so I'm wondering if you're expecting to see maybe a fighter who's desperate, who has a sense of urgency, unlike some of his previous fights.
Well, my way is always just preparing for the worst. So, obviously, fight losing streak, he's probably working his ass off. He wants to come back and he wants to get that win more than anyone probably in the game. He's probably fighting for his position in the UFC. So I'm expecting somebody who's going to come out with as much hunger as I suppose anyone who's fighting for their place in the UFC.
Yeah, and do you have a theory as to why he has hit this skid? Why do you feel like he hasn't won his last 3 fights?
I think he's been up against top opposition for a start. Obviously, Dan Hooker into the top 15. Nasrat, I train with Nasrat. I know exactly how talented he is and how dangerous he is. And Klaus is also a great fighter and on the up. So obviously, it's good guys he's lost to is no mugs. So that's it. I prepared as hard as I can. Made sure I'm ready. And then whatever happens on the night, we'll see.
Fighting the day before St. Patty's Day, St. Patrick's Day to be precise. Does that mean anything to you? Does that feel any extra special?
Yeah, it always does actually. Like London card always seems to be on
Right.
Paddy's weekend, so it's always got that added bit of flavor to it for me. Plus, there's the rugby's on here all the time, so it's a big game. We're playing Wales, obviously. Growing up in Wales is a big game for me too. So all of it just in one big mix is a big weekend for me.
For like a true Irishman, how do you what is the proper way to celebrate St. Patrick's Day? Like here in America, it's just a bunch of drunk people acting like idiots. But like, what is the actual way to do it back home in Ireland?
Well, there's no set way, Ariel. Obviously, back home is day. So a lot of places they'll have the parades and everything else, but I suppose just each to their own. I know during Lent it was the only day that people would go on the beer on Paddy's Day. Like it would be the only day you were allowed to go on it. I think that's definitely an Irish tale, but sure.
And now, what about my friend Rat Garbage? Does he have his next assignment yet?
You've caught me. Yeah. You'll get news soon.
Soon. Holding out on us?
Get excited. You don't get all the scoops, Ariel.
Damn. I thought like us Montrealers, I know we're kind of all transplanted, but I thought we stuck together.
You're trying to put a man in deep water here.
All right.
You know the crack area. We can't say nothing.
All right, fair enough. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you back, Joe. It's great to have you back. I'm happy that you're healthy, you're in good spirits. I'm really looking forward to this fight on Saturday. I wish you the best, my friend. Thank you for doing this on short notice.
No bother at all. Thanks very much, Ariel. Thanks for having me on.
All right, best of luck to you, Irish Joe. Irish Joe Duffy returning on Saturday. There are some of the fights on the card. Whoops, I got a little bit of feedback there. Here we go. Till Masvidal, top of the card, main event, bit of a welterweight tournament, if you will. You got Till Masvidal, you got Leon Edwards, Gunnar Nelson, Volkan Ozdemir against Dominic Reyes. Very important fight at light heavyweight. Nathaniel Wood returning against Jose Quinones. I love this fight. Arnold Allen. It's always great to see Arnold Allen in action because his dad is in his corner. Pacer. Legend. Strongman against Jordan Rinaldi. And then, of course, the aforementioned Mark J. Casey versus Joe Duffy. The prelims kick off at 1 p.m. Eastern. The main card is at 4 p.m. Eastern. It's all on ESPN+. It's going to fly by. Great stuff. Speaking of ESPN Plus, coming to ESPN Plus in May, also ESPN2, is the PFL, the Professional Fighters League. And that woman is going to be a part of their inaugural 155-pound women's tournament. Yes, Sarah Kaufman, the former Strikeforce women's bantamweight champion, the now former Invicta bantamweight champion, is moving up 20 pounds to go to lightweight and fight in their inaugural tournament. This is massive news. I did not expect it. Let's talk to Sarah Kaufman right now on the program. Sarah, how are you?
I'm great, thanks, Ariel. How are you?
I'm doing great. Wow, okay. This kind of came out of nowhere. How did this come about? How long has this been in the works for?
It actually started back when the finals, the championship fights were happening on New Year's Eve last year for the PFL. And I was in Las Vegas. I had been helping Joanne Calderwood get ready for her fight. I was sitting with John Wood. We were talking about different opportunities. And, the thought of, hey, I could do that tournament. I like money. I like $1 million. I love fighting. And it was a really unique opportunity to kind of try something a little bit different, to not cut weight, to test myself in a different format. And this sports style format is pretty neat. And so I was really excited to be part of it and kind of got the ball rolling. And now here we are officially signed and looking forward to kind of a May 9th start.
Okay. And so as this is happening, you're the Invicta champion. So how did that all work itself out?
I talked with Shannon, and Shannon was really great about making sure that this was the right step for me moving forward. Unfortunately, I wasn't as active as I would have liked to have been. Having held the title, I wanted to defend it. I wanted to keep moving with it. But this is where we are, and so I'm really excited that Shannon was very forthright and allowed me to take the opportunity to try something new and really advance myself as a fighter and take myself to the next level.
Okay, and so to be clear, you're no longer the Invicta bantamweight champion, correct?
I'm no longer the Invicta bantamweight champion at this point. Totally aside from Invicta, and at this point now I'm just with the PFL, looking to fight at the 155-pound division and make big waves there, really.
Yeah. So like I said, you're moving up, and typically I know it's taboo, like, weight and whatnot. These are taboo things, but in our world, it's all okay because this is a part of the story. And so could I ask, how much do you walk, like right now, how much do you weigh?
Right now, about 153 pounds.
Wow. Okay. So even like off season, if you will, you're not even at 155. So you won't have to cut any weight for this.
I won't be cutting any weight. And that's kind of the revolutionary part of this. I know Kayla Harrison has been on your show, and she's spoken quite a few times about not wanting to cut weight. And especially with the PFL's format, having the regular season, having the playoffs, and having the championships, to be cutting weight that many times, 4 times within 6 months, is really hard on the body. And so having the opportunity to fight 155 pounds, I'm not going to be cutting weight. I'm going to be nutritionally at my highest. I'm going to be able to support my training, be healthy, fight at my best, and have the opportunity to showcase myself without having to cut weight at all.
So in your entire career, have you ever fought at 155?
Never.
You fought at 140, 145?
My very first fight, maybe my first 2 fights were 145. My third fight was 140, and then after that has always been 135. I feel great there. I feel strong there. And it'll be interesting to see, without having to cut weight, with just being able to train, how I feel at 155.
Initially, did you have concerns? I mean, I would imagine 145, like that's totally easy. As you said, you fought there before, but considering it's 20 pounds, did you have any concerns about that?
It is a big jump. And so that was, who are we going to be fighting? I figured that I'd be kind of on the shorter end, given that I'm not the tallest for even 135. But it'll be interesting to see Larissa Pacheco. She's also a 135er. And then some of the other girls are 145ers or maybe just sitting around 155, 160. It'll be interesting to see, but I'm really confident that at the end of the day, New Year's Eve, I'm going to win the PFL championship belt and $1 million. And it doesn't matter if I'm the lightest of the night or the heaviest.
In your entire career, and it's been, one of the best in women's MMA history, would you say off the top of your head that your total purses combined, have they been more than $1 million, less than $1 million, equal to $1 million? I'm just curious because that is a massive number that is somewhat unique in this sport.
It's very unique. I mean, I don't think any other organization is putting up, and even across the board, this season it's 6 different weight classes. Men, women, we're all making $1 million at the end of the season. It's a huge, huge thing. And for me, this will definitely be the biggest payday, I think, combined of any of my other fights.
Wow. And so I know just from following you on social media, it seems like you have been frustrated about seeing other people get opportunities and you've been forgotten about. And like I said, you're a champion now in 2 different divisions. You fought the very best wherever you have competed. How frustrating did it get? Was there ever a point where you were thinking like, gosh, I don't even know, like at some point I need to go out there and be active and do my job. Did you ever reach the point where you just got tired of all of this?
Over the years, I've definitely been very frustrated with how the sport has evolved and how I've sat in the sport, whether it's right time, wrong time, coming off a win, coming off of a loss, just different opportunities that didn't work out, different opponents who wouldn't fight me. And it has been very frustrating. And then given this opportunity, there's no option but to fight me. And that's one of the biggest selling points for me is I can control how I do in the tournament or how I do in this format just solely based on my actual actions and performance in the cage. So I'm going to get given the opportunity to fight in the regular season. Given that, 2 fights. Girls can't say no to fight me. They've signed in for this format. If I win those fights, and I win those fights, the faster I win them, the higher the points I get. It's a direct correlation to how I get placed for the semifinals. And then again, I win that fight and I'm in the final. So everything is in my control. And this is probably the first time in my career that I've had that opportunity to be entirely in control of my destiny, of what's going to happen for the rest of the year from an organization. So frustration is gone. And at this point, I'm just looking forward to a really exciting 2019.
I feel like that consistency is almost as appealing as the money itself for you, just knowing that you will get X amount of fights this year, no matter what.
Fighting at the end of the day is what I want to do. And so the guaranteed 4 fights, well, I guess guaranteed 2 fights, I control those, I win those, get the semis, and my ultimate goal and my plan is to be in that final fight on New Year's Eve. So I've never had a year where within 6 months I've fought 4 times. I've rallied many times to take last notice, short minute fights, whatever, get involved, get more active. And this will be the first year that this is it's happening and it's pretty much guaranteed.
I've even seen you throw your name out there to fight at 145, where it seemed like the UFC has had trouble finding featherweights. You have officially 2 losses on your UFC record, right? One to Alexis Davis, one of the great BJJ practitioners of all time in women's MMA, and the other a split decision loss to Valentina Shevchenko, who's the current flyweight champion. Why'd they never give you another look? Why could you not get another chance with the UFC?
I don't know. My fights there weren't exciting, and that was in my control, and I could have done better there. Social media is a huge aspect, and I'm working on trying to improve that and push that. But I think that fighting should stand on its own, and your skill and your experience shouldn't matter. But the fact that you've put yourself out there and that you've worked hard and that, I know that I am the top female in the world. I'm always looking to prove that. I never say no to fights. I'm literally out there all the time asking to fight anyone and everyone. And I don't know, people don't want to fight me. And so I think that's been part of it, is it's hard to match me up. But I really don't know. And at this point, I'm not really thinking about it because I have this other opportunity with PFL. And now I can prove that I'm the best in the world, this time at 155, and hopefully more females follow suit and, explore other opportunities and fighting in a more natural weight class.
I have said that it feels like this tournament is the Kayla Harrison show, that it's all sort of geared up for her to win. She is, in my opinion, the face of the promotion. She has fought 3 times as a professional. What do you think of her thus far?
I think I've only seen her last fight in the championships. I'm also very aware that the PFL has put a lot into Kayla. They're developing this female weight class for her. Kayla has been very vocal about wanting to fight at 155. I think she probably walks heavier than that and only cuts a little bit of weight. She's been impressive. You don't get to be a 2-time gold medalist at the Olympics in judo of all things without athleticism, hard work, dedication, commitment to a sport. And so she's going to bring that into this PFL format. I hope that I meet her in the finals and can win there and, kind of upset their party and rain on the parade a little bit.
And so you have been fighting much more than she hasn't even fought for a year. It will be a year in June. So you've been around the block for quite some time. You're one of the veterans of the sport, but still fighting at a very high level. If you did fight her, even if she went through the whole tournament, you go through the whole tournament, do you feel like experience will be a factor? Like, do you not feel like she is quite on your level just yet, just in terms of cage time?
I mean, cage time, there's no comparison. Mat time, she's been on the mats, I'm sure, for years and years doing judo, but it is a different sport. Getting hit is very different. I'm sure she's training very hard. But I've been in the sport as a professional now for coming on 13 years as of June, which seems incredibly crazy that I've been doing it for that long. And that's going to play into my favor, for sure.
How familiar are you with some of the other names? I noticed that you mentioned Larissa Pacheco, but are there, I was joking with the PFL brass that I don't know if there are actual, 8 155-pound women competing in MMA right now. I mean, 145 is a problem in its own right. 155, forget about it. Are you familiar with the rest of the field, or did you have to look them up as well?
I thought the same thing as you. Like, where are they going to find these 8 girls who are going to be 155 pounds? Are there even 8 girls who are fighting at 155 pounds? And I think that they've pulled up, Larissa Pacheco. They found, I think, a couple 145ers that they've moved up. I don't know the other 6 girls yet. I'm going to try and look into them and find out a little bit more information. But as of right now, when the names came out, I hadn't heard of the other 5.
I guess the good news is no one misses out on the playoffs, right? Because in the other weight classes, there's 12 fighters and 4 get left out. In yours, it seems like all 8 are going to make the playoffs, right?
No, that's actually not correct. Oh. So we're doing the 2 regular season fights. The point structure is based on how you win and how fast you win. And then for the women, because it's like kind of the developing of this division, they're only going to take the top 4. Oh. So you have to make the top 4 to become a semifinalist. And then from there, we'll immediately go to the finals.
Okay, interesting. And you have to fight. So if you're fighting, if there's 4, you only have to fight once, right? There's no, because last year there was that deal where you had to fight twice on the same night to make it to the finals. You guys only have to fight once? Right.
So the men, the 5 divisions for the men will have 2 regular season. They'll have the quarterfinals and the semis on the same night. I think it's October, and then the finals will be New Year's Eve. We're only going to have the 2 regular season, directly semifinals in October, and then the finals.
Interesting. Why did they do this? Do you know? Is it because there aren't enough fighters out there?
I think because they wanted the regular season to matter.
Yeah.
I think it's great. And because they want to develop this division, I think already finding 8 women, they wanted to have a certain talent base and experience level, or whatever the criteria was that they were looking for when the PFL were making the bracket. And so this way, because it's only 8, you still have to do well in the regular season to make it to the postseason. So there's a little bit more on the line.
When's your debut?
I believe that we'll be fighting May 9th.
Okay.
I don't know who yet. I'm very anxious and excited to find who it is that I'll be up against, kind of prepare for them. But then once it starts, it'll be May on ESPN. Right after that, I think it's 3 weeks or 3 shows for the first block. That'll be in New York, I believe. The second block will be in July, and that is Atlantic City. And so once you do the second fight, then the playoffs for the semifinals will be in October, and then New York is the big show.
Okay. And you will fight all other 7 competitors, right? So you will get to Kayla before the finals, correct?
No, we just fight twice. So I could get to her before the finals, but we have the 2 regular season fights, and so I don't know which 2 fighters I'll be up against.
Wow.
And then based on how you do there, you get ranked 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Oh.
If you make the top 4, and then 1 fights 4 and 2 fights 3. So I could face Kayla in the regular season. I could face her in the semifinals or the finals.
Oh, this is I have a feeling they're going to keep you guys separate. That's just a hunch. That's an uneducated hunch, but that feels
I would
like the
think that we
move.
probably won't fight until, the playoff, the postseason.
Right.
I wouldn't think they'd put us together in the regular season. But once the regular season starts, they don't really have any control. It's how do you win and how fast do you win? And then you get your points. So you can get bonus points for finishing faster. It's a really exciting format because I think it's going to push me to push my pace and to be explosive and to try and get fast wins. And, you can win and get a decision and get 3 points, or you can win in the first round and get 6 points. And then you want to be the first ranked so that you get to fight fourth ranked. And it makes kind of the whole regular season a lot more exciting because there's a reason to not just win a fight, but to win a fight quicker without any injury, without taking too much damage.
Well, I love this. This is great.
Yeah.
Congratulations on the opportunity.
Thank
I wasn't
you so much.
expecting it, but I think it's a nice little curveball that they threw all of us. I'm looking forward to it. Good luck in training. Good luck in the tournament. We'll check back in with you as the whole thing starts to unfold.
Yeah, and I just want to thank, PFL for bringing this to me and kind of giving a new look to the sport. And then make sure May 9th you watch me ESPN. Follow me as I kind of push through this whole new process and culminate with $1 million.
Good luck with the
New
weight
York
cut
City.
as well.
Oh, thank you. The weight cut, yeah.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Sarah.
Ariel.
Good luck. There she is, Sarah Kaufman. Wow, interesting. Former Strikeforce bantamweight champion, former Invicta bantamweight champion. Now she's moving up to 155 to fight for the inaugural 155-pound title in PFL. Okay, let us move along now to our next guest. Let's say hello to a legend, Vitor Belfort. This man is a legend in the cage, but also a legend because he's doing this interview in the midst of his family vacation. He is the newest member of One Championship. He joins us now via FaceTime. Vitor, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing fantastic. I could not ask for a better place to be right now.
Okay, well, congratulations on this deal. So let's get to it. I was there when they made the announcement that you had signed with One. In the end, why did you choose One?
I think One is just, I think it's what they're doing with they're changing the MMA injuries. They're focused on building heroes and story and be able to share that with not just with fans all over the world. I think they're connecting with people. Don't realize how broad and big they are, and I'm so blessed to be able to work with Chatre and the whole organization. These guys are Harvard Business School fellows, and they know what they're doing, and they do an amazing job of connecting the history of these heroes with the fans, and I'm very proud to be part of that.
Were there any other organizations, any other offers that you seriously considered before signing with One?
Yes, we did. I did my due diligence in what I really did is just before I made my decisions. I believe in a vision. I believe if you don't have a vision, you end up perishing somewhere. So, me. I helped build the sport where it is today, and I'm looking for this new era, what MMA is doing, and I'm being part of it. It's amazing.
I understand that you traveled to Singapore to watch one of their events live before signing with them. Was that your first time seeing one of their events live? And if so, what were you impressed? It seems like that was maybe sort of like the final thing that led you to this decision. What impressed you most about it?
Impressed me how precise they are in details and how their operation works. It's funny because my professor, Anita, from Harvard Business School, I graduated on the athlete side, and soon I was there talking to, she's like a mentor to me, and I was just talking to her. I'm signing with this new organization and making my decision, and she was one of my counselors on that. And as soon as I start talking, and I said, this is the guys that I sent her a picture, and they said, oh, they're all my students. These guys are amazing. They're brilliant. So it's kind of everything connected with it, I just love the way the details, the lighting, the production, the vision, the acceptance of changing the aspect how they not just view themselves MMA, but how they apply they're really mixed martial arts. In the same event, I witnessed a Muay Thai fight, kickboxing fights with legends, and MMA fights. So is what my dream to see that you can bring so much into the sport. And you know me, Ariel, I'm looking for to do something that never done before. And that's what I'm looking for. And they're giving this platform, and I believe we are about to do soon a lot of things that the fans would appreciate it, and we are totally, I believe, one is changing the perspective how MMA should be. I think should be related to the fans.
When you were there, did it remind you of the Pride days for you?
Remind me a mix of the Pride and what UFC is doing in America. It's so precise. It was so precise what the production, the lighting, it's everything. The beauty of the colors. You know me, I'm a very detailed guy, and the way I present myself in the sport, and I know business very well, how production is run, and just like your show, man. When I see a show, it's just amazing to see how detailed your scenario is with the dolls and everything, and that's how it's supposed to be. We are in a new era, and that's definitely one championship is transforming this game of mixed martial arts.
So I understand you are still recovering from your shoulder surgery. Realistically, when is the earliest that you could even fight for one?
I think about August, September, we're going to be ready. August, September, and that's where we are looking to frame of date-wise, and we are training. I'm training hard. I'm doing my physio. I'm in great shape right now. It's just about when we start grinding, and you gotta be very diligent in doing this, especially the shoulder.
And without giving away too many specifics, are you happy with the deal? Are they paying top dollar to have
Very
the Vitor, the Phenom Vitor Belfort fight for them?
I'm very happy, man. I'm very happy. I could not be more. We can always be more happy.
Right.
But that's what it is. I can see the growth, and our relationship are so good. I really like the way they operate in business and the way things are going. Just want to, people don't understand how big one championship is. Sequoia, they did that diligent. Is one of the biggest. They're the biggest guys investing big companies, and they're behind the $280 million. Besides that, one partner with Disney, Facebook, Sony. So it's the reason that why before I make a decision, I wanted to make a decision long on a long run. I see more as a marathon, and I'm very, very happy with the deal because we are about to do something they never did before, and we're right now in negotiating. You guys know, with Roy Jones Jr., we putting a fight between the biggest sport of MMA, of combat sport, between boxing and MMA, in a fashion way they never done before.
Where did this idea come from? The idea of fighting Roy Jones Jr.
Roy is a legend, of his sport, and so do I. So I think he deserved this fight. He earned the opportunity to shepherd this new era of his sport, and so do I in my sport. So I could not ask for a better way of putting this together. And I believe this is going to be a natural intersection between boxing and the mixed martial art world. And we're going to be taking the best element of each and disposing on the unfair, unhealthy, and unfun aspect. So we are looking to do something that never done before. And I believe we'll create something new, something that never been done before. And I'm really excited.
Have you spoken to Roy Jones personally about this?
No, but my team's already talking, dates, everything. Now it's just the detail. He accepted, and now we're just talking about big deal. So if, I don't know who you're watching this, but we are looking to bring this to a country. I really believe this fight can be history in the combat sport, just like George Foreman, Muhammad Ali, when they went to Africa. And I believe on the settings of what we are agreeing to fight. And I would, if you can bring this to your country, because we're gonna make history, and I'm very proud to be able to accomplish this and be able to be one of those guys that we have everything in our power to move ahead and do something they've never done before.
So to the best of your knowledge, Roy has already accepted the fight verbally. Now it's just a matter of actually putting it to paper, signing, and all that. But as far as you are concerned, he has accepted the fight verbally.
Yeah, he accepted. He's accepted. My Lloyd is already talking to his manager, his lawyers. Well, now we are securing the date, location. I think this fight, I can see this happening. We already have so many people, so many countries. We get Dubai, we get Qatar, we get the Russians. We have Brazilian people wanted to bring this to Brazil. But I see this happen, in an area like Madison Square Garden in New York. I can see this happen over there. I can see this happen in places that they're gonna be remembered forever. Just like the fight between Muhammad Ali and George Foreman was remembered forever. I think this fight, in the set of rules that we are coming in agreement, these two industries will collide in a very fair way for both guys.
Could you tell me what these rules are? What are you thinking?
Man, I cannot tell. This is a secret.
Why?
But I promise you'll be the first one for us to let you know. You're gonna be the first one to share this with the fans. You deserve it, man.
It's gonna
be. You're gonna thank me for a long time, man. You're gonna say, "My God, it's amazing." How about that?
Okay, fair enough. Could you give me a hint? Because you said it's unlike anything we've ever seen. So that obviously piques my interest. Could you give me a hint what you're thinking?
It's the best elements of both.
Oh, so a mixed fight.
And we can. It's something that if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna collide these two industries together, it's very interesting. I'm very interested because the fans, and that's what we're gonna make. They have good fights every weekend.
Right.
You agree with me, Ariel?
Sure.
Every weekend we have such a good fights, so good fighters. So I think we're doing something that we're gonna call attention of. We both go to many generations. We both active. We both still active in our sports, and I believe it's like it's gonna be something that interested in if you're a golfer, if you're a baseball fan, if you're swimmer, whatever you are, you want to see this two legend collide in the set of rules that we are doing for sure.
Wow, so this isn't going to be like McGregor Mayweather. You're referring to maybe a
this
mixed
is not
fight.
gonna this is not gonna be a carnival. That's not gonna be a sideshow, not freaking show. This is gonna be serious. This something that we have legacy to live for the next. So legacy is something that everyone benefit from it.
Right.
From what they did before, these two guys, and of course Dana benefit a lot, but the industry didn't benefit at all. So we're looking to bring a legacy to these two industries, boxing and MMA, the biggest combat sport in the world. So I'm very, very, very happy to be part of this wave. Let's say that we gotta surf this wave.
Will it be in a ring or a cage or something else?
A ring.
A ring. Okay.
I'll be in a ring.
And Roy is 50 years old. Do you have any concerns about that?
No, man. He's a real. He looks 40 to me.
Right.
He looks 40 to me. So you got to remember, it's something that it's the setting is nothing that's gonna be damaged. It's everything is gonna be with safety first. I think, and that's what MMA. We got to start thinking and looking into the safety of the fighters, and sooner or later MMA rules. We need to start. Gonna have to. Like I talked to you the last time. Do you know the names of the people who create MMA rules? Do you know the name of the individuals?
Yes.
Tell me the names of them.
The ones who created the unified rules of MMA.
Yes.
Well, there was John McCarthy, there was Jeff Blatnick, there was Larry Hazard. Those individuals you're talking about?
Yeah. So thinking about any one of them, they stepped on octagon and fought before.
No, they've done martial arts, but not actual fights.
So that's the thing. When you create a rule for something, then you never have to do it again. So example, you don't know what it is. Am I right? You only know how. Example, you drink coffee. You like coffee?
Yes.
So you know the taste of coffee. So now you can become a good barista. Am I right? But how you can become a good barista if you never drink coffee?
Fair.
So you gotta have doctors involved. You gotta have neuroscience involved to see how CT is creating. You have to bring a sort of things that, along with the. So we're coming on the era that if things that don't get a trick, if we don't change, we're gonna stagnate it. We're gonna stay in the mud. I say, don't stay in the mud. Whatever you do in your life, always looking to improve. You gotta start in movement. I believe in movement. If you don't move forward, either you stagnate it or you go backwards. So my concern is because I'm looking for safety number one. And today I see that MMA a punch in the face like we did, not elbow in the face like we did. So we come into, especially the weight cut, we need to come with something that to bring safety to these guys, because sooner or later, these guys going to be 60, 50, 40. We already having the first generation to arrive on their 50s, maybe at the 60s, and we see how many things they could have done to prevent these things that they're going through right now. So I believe we're going to see this sooner or later, for sure.
How many fights did you sign for, Vitor?
A lot of fights.
A lot. So do you think that you will retire as a one fighter? You won't fight anywhere else?
You guys want to see me fight when I'm 60?
No.
Maybe on video game. Maybe on video games.
Yes. So you think this is it for you? This is your last contract?
Yeah, it's going to be it.
That's going to be it. So you think you'll fight multiple times? Like you will have an MMA fight for one, right? Not just this Roy Jones fight.
For sure.
Okay.
Boxing as well. That's the beauty. You know, I love mixed martial arts, and I did boxing before. I never did kickboxing. So a lot of things that and the variety and the way they are doing right now, I'm so pleased. And when I talk to Chatri is not a guy who's there promoting fights. He really knows. He was a mixed martial artist. He really did martial arts. So, and he's concerned about safety athletes. They put this a priority. So I admire this a lot for his love and passion, not just in martial arts, but in business. He's a Harvard guy. So all his partners, they're all from Harvard. And I feel like very safety and secure that the fans going to be able to, in the next months, the next years, they will be able to experience something amazing. So people don't understand the numbers. They went from 700,000 people, from 20 million people seeing one event. And they're expecting in the next year between 100 million people going to be watching this one event live. So It's crazy. The numbers are just tremendous the way they are. It's just growing. People don't realize how big one championship is.
Have you decided, I want to go till this age? Now that I've signed this contract at 40, I want to go to 45. I want to go to 50. Have you made that decision?
Yeah, 50.
50?
50.
All right.
50.
If anyone could do it,
50.
you can. You're the phenom.
Yes, come on, man.
Unbelievable.
The secret, Ariel, thinking about, I remember you begin your career. You remember you begin your career?
Yes.
You used to have like a little record machine, am I right?
Yes,
and you used to go to these events. You ever thought that where you could be today? You ever thought in your mind that one day you'll be in this position? Never. So that's the thing. I know that people watching us right now, fighters, athletes, agents, and managers and owners and president, even the president can be watching this. The idea of changing the world is only one thing, takes a dream and action. if you don't have, and if you don't have,
I think we may have lost Vitor there, and it was such a great moment. He was getting me all inspired. Vitor, are you there? Oh no, did we lose him? I can't say goodbye. What? Is he back? Can we call him quickly on the phone? Oh, Vitor, are you back?
yeah, I'm back.
Oh, you're back.
I'm back.
Okay, sorry. We lost you there.
Disclose of this conversation. The devil is a liar. So the idea of creating something new, you have to take risk in your work, your actions, and you gotta have a dream.
Amen. Vitor, I appreciate it. Enjoy your vacation. Thank you so much. Congratulations on signing with One, and keep us posted on this deal.
Is Joanna? Joanna here? We got the kids over the back over there.
Hello, everyone. There they are. Wow, what a beautiful family. And I look forward to seeing your son in the NFL.
So he's looking just.
Okay. Thank you, Vitor. All the best to you and the family. Enjoy your vacation. What a great guy, that Vitor Belfort, taking some time out while he's on vacation with his family. Okay. We move along now to our next guest. In a matter of moments, we are going to be joined by one of the most polarizing figures in the sport today. We have not heard from this man in quite some time. Lord knows I've been bothering him to come on the show every single week. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Can you talk now? Can you talk now? Can you talk now? No, 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 no. We have wanted to talk to him ever since all that stuff happened in Las Vegas, UFC 229. Well, my friends, there he is, public enemy number one. The notorious Dillon Danis himself, the infamous. How are you, Dillon?
Doing good, man. How you been?
It's good to talk to you. Where have you been?
You know, I was like always excited to come on your show, and then you would have like AJ or Gary Tundon on, and I was like, oh, it's not that exciting anymore. But now I came back around, so.
All right. Well, we have come to our senses. We're back talking to the headliner.
You have to come to your senses, though, having those guys on the show, you know, kind of brings down the value, but. Okay.
Well, thank you for keeping tabs. But you have been quiet. You have not talked. Everyone has weighed in on, you know, the events that happened at 229. Everyone's had their say, but you have not. Why is that?
I think timing is key. You know, there was a lot of like, everybody kind of had an opinion about it. Everybody kind of had something to say about it, you know, and it was just kind of a lot of fake stuff out there, a lot of rumors and stuff. So I just kind of let everything blow over because, you know, that wasn't important. You know, my career is more important to me than just some little brawl, you know?
Sure. Okay, so let's get to it because I think everyone is wondering how you feel about what happened and in particular what your side of the story is. So you are a cornered licenseman, right? You are there.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I should say you're a licensed cornerman, and you are there cornering your friend Conor McGregor. It's UFC 229. It's October 6th. It's Las Vegas. It's T-Mobile Arena. It goes to the fourth round. Unfortunately for him and the team, things don't go his way. He loses that fight. From your perspective, what happens then?
So this started in like, I think the third or second round when I was behind the cage. He was on the other side and he kept trying to come and like, he was like pointing and saying stuff to me. And then I was like thinking in my head, like, man, this guy's crazy. I was like just trying to like focus on my friend here and, you know, stuff like that. And he kept like coming and saying stuff and like cursing. And I was like, all right, this dude's insane. And then, like, even in between rounds, like, if they were close to the fence, he was, like, eyeing and, like, mouthing stuff. And I was like, the fuck, you know? And so it started actually during the fight that stuff was going on. So I could kind of sense that he was in a different state of mind. And then, I mean, after the fight, you know, even with Nate Diaz, any of them, like, you know, after a fight, it's usually, like, you know, respect. So I would never, ever start a fight with someone after a fight. Like, you know, I'm a martial artist from the beginning since I was a kid. And that's just not who I am. I'm not going to be the kind of guy that's like after a fight, like, you fuck you know, especially like that. That's just not me. So, so that was going on. And then there was a guy named Riz. I don't know his name. I don't know. I think one of his managers, you know, but you know his name, Ariel?
Rizvan?
Yeah, Rizvan. He was commenting on my picture a couple weeks before saying all this crazy stuff to me. So then I got up, you know, after the fight was over, I got up, you know, obviously I'm in shock, you know, Conor's one of my closest friends and, training partners, and I care for him a lot. So I got up and I'm just sitting there because obviously I just seen my friend lose, and I felt someone hitting me on the back like really hard, and I'm thinking like, oh, maybe it's like the commission or something trying to go into the cage. And then I looked back and it was him, and then I was like, what's up? And then I turned around and I seen Khabib throw the mouthpiece or something, and it was kind of like he spit on me because like when he threw the mouthpiece there was spit everywhere, and I was just like, all right, come here. And ended up he jumped over the cage, and whatever happened. But yeah, it was crazy. It just kind of happened in the moment.
Okay, so there's a lot there that I haven't heard of before. So in the middle of the fight, he's actually saying things to you. He's talking to you in the middle of the fight. What is he saying?
He wasn't like saying. He was like giving the eyes. He was like that the whole time. Like,
okay,
he wasn't like a lot, but the guy, it was obvious. And like I just ignored that because that's during the fight I'm just focusing on what I have to be looking at, and giving any advice I can. So that's just nonsense. But I mean, it was going on. And then and I don't know which round it was, but I was behind the cage, and he kept trying to get him, and his guys were like holding him back, and he was like pointing and shit. And I was like, I don't know, it was just weird. But yeah, so like I kind of could see that he was kind of like coming towards me or whatever, and then that kind of happened after. I would never expect that to happen, to be honest.
At any point, did you feel uncomfortable there? Like, did you feel like something was about to happen, that someone was going to come at you?
No, because that happened in the Nate fight. He was talking shit to the corner too, so I thought it was just like one of those. I didn't, I don't feel uncomfortable. I stay calm and cool. Like I'm just focused on what I have to do and my task and my friend and training partner that's fighting. I'm not worried about what he's doing or so that I could see it, but I was just like focus on what you have to focus on, because at the end of the day, that's what matters.
And so the moment the fight ends, he submits Conor. Khabib submits Conor. Even before Khabib goes in your direction, you're saying that Rizvan, one of Khabib's managers, started hitting you from the back?
Yeah, there's a video. I mean, he didn't punch me, but he kind of like slapped me like really hard, and I looked at him and he was like, what's up? And I was like, what's up? I don't remember what said. Everybody keeps like asking me these questions, man. It just happened in the moment. Like all of a sudden it's like a freaking, obviously I'm dealing with what I just saw, and then all of a sudden people are jumping and people are grabbing me. It's like, this is mayhem,
Yeah.
But yeah, that was the thing that started, and I don't know. And then yeah, I don't know, it was weird.
And then Khabib obviously goes in your direction, as you said. And did the mouthpiece actually hit you?
No, because it got stopped at the cage, bro. Even when it gets stopped at the cage, like it was still wet, so like
yeah,
it's disgusting. Like basically that's like someone spitting on you. So
and
then
that's
obviously,
when he jumps
what am I
over.
going to do? Like yeah, I'm going to be like, oh, stop that. Like people are like, people are very irrational when it comes to stuff like that. They're just like, obviously I'm going to go like this,
sure,
or like someone just spit on you, or I'm not going to be like, hey, don't do that.
So in the immediate aftermath, the word around the community was that you threw out some like anti-Muslim slurs or some defamatory comments. Did you do any of that? Did you say any of that?
There was about how many people in that arena? There was not one video of me saying that. That was all, I'm pretty sure, Ali trying to just start trouble, which is very like disheartening because I have very close friends that are Muslim and of many religions, so that really hurt me actually. And yeah, I would never say anything like that in my life.
The only thing that you did was say, come on, like, bring it. You're going to throw the mouthpiece. Let's go.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's just who I am. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, someone spits on you, what are you going to do? I would teach my son that, too. If someone ever bullied you or spit on you or do something like that, like, you have to defend yourself. So.
Okay, and so he does jump over the cage in your direction. Yeah. Did he actually punch you? Did you guys exchange?
It was funny when he jumped. Like, it was such like a weird like attack because he had his hands up and his feet up, and I was like, how do I block this? I was like, do I block the kick or the punch? And I didn't. Like, I was like really confused, because like he was just like both like this, and I was like, is he gonna like drop kick me or is he gonna like? In my head, I was like, all right, we'll just block and then go, So I don't know if he hit me with a hammer press. I don't remember, but I don't think so. I think most of the marks I had was from after when the guys were punching me and stuff. But yeah, he didn't really hit me. And then I remember throwing a right hand. I hit him with a right hand, and then I grabbed him in the clinch, and I remember having like a collar tie on him. And I was like throwing uppercuts, and he kept like, it was weird because like usually when you fight someone, like they want to fight you. So like he wasn't coming towards me. He was like going away from me, and I was like trying to bring him back with the collar tie, and he kept like cowering away. It was like the weirdest thing ever. So I was like, how do you jump at me and then like run away? So I don't know. That's all I remember. And obviously connect? Like it was in the moment. Like you're not gonna remember everything, but yeah, it was just mayhem after that.
Did you?
But it was really weird how he was like backing away after you jump someone. But to be honest, Ariel, like I actually didn't mind it. Like I like not necessarily say I like stuff like that, but that's just like another like Saturday night and where I come from. So it was like kind of fun. I don't know.
Where you come from? Where do you come from? You come from New Jersey.
Jersey's tough. Some of the toughest people come from Jersey.
Right. That's true. That is very true. Did you connect with, like when you said the uppercuts and all that, did you actually connect?
Yeah, I hit him on top of the temple. It was like here to the side of the head. I just threw a big right hand. So, I mean, my striking's not the best, but I still got a couple combos in my arsenal.
That might be the most humble thing you've ever said.
I was going to pull guard, but I didn't get the chance.
Right, yeah, it was a little crowded there. Now, did anyone actually punch you? Like in the melee from the back, did you actually get hit?
The only time I got hit was when I was being restrained by the law enforcement. They were punching me in the back of the head and stuff. I mean, there's videos of it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is what it is, though. You know, when war goes on, you know, things happen. The only thing I had a little bit of a problem with is that, you know, people punching me in the back of the head. It's kind of not really cool, you know, but whatever. It is what it is.
And so, obviously, then, you know, some of his teammates come in. Connor tries to diffuse the situation. He's over. The thing is just completely getting out of hand. Connor gets punched as well. Are you witnessing all of this? And did you try to get in?
Yeah, I tried to get back in, and then there was like 4 security guards. They were so big, too. They were just like jumping on top of me, and I was trying to get back in the cage, and then they were saying like, "We're gonna arrest you. We're gonna arrest you," and they were like saying some crazy stuff. And I was like, "No, like, look, that's my friend. Like, I'm going back in. Like, you know, because like obviously I see that. I'm like, I'm going back in there." And they had like 3, 4 cops on me, and they were like screaming the craziest like stuff to me, and then it ended up all getting pulled, and then they took me to the back, and it was what it was.
What happened in the back? What was that like?
You know, I don't know. It's just kind of, I had to deal with obviously the fight and then that, and it is what it was, you know, like, yeah, you know, that's just like more personal to the team, but
sure.
Yeah, it wasn't really anything. Who cares about it?
Is it true? Well, I don't know about who cares about it, but I understand why you'd want to keep it yourself. Is it true that they asked Connor if he wanted to press charges and he said no?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's just not who we are. Like, it all is fair and with love and war, I guess.
Yeah. And then when you guys left, when you guys went back, the whole thing just like lingered till then, right? Didn't the cops show up and you had to like talk? I mean, this thing, it wasn't like you could just leave and the whole thing was done, right? The aftermath lasted a long time.
Yeah, not really. I mean, they come back to ask you questions. I mean, obviously, for me, I was defending myself, so like, what are they gonna do with me? I mean, some people I hear are saying like instigating and stuff like that. It's like, it's stupid, you know. But I guess it is what it is.
Now, you don't shy away from conflict, if you will, on social media, but I'm just wondering, like, what was your social media like in the days afterwards? Because everything was just so heated, and everyone taking sides. What was that like?
It's actually crazy. I mean, I was getting like 40, 50,000 comments a picture, like saying like the crazy stuff, like death threats and stuff like that, and it was actually it was intense. But I mean, I'm pretty good at like just dealing with it, you know?
Yeah. Did you ever feel uncomfortable? Like, you know, getting death threats is a pretty serious thing. No? No, not at all.
I don't know. I feel like if someone's going to actually do something, they want to say it. So
sure. That's a good point. So then the whole thing lingers, and then we find out that finally Connor's getting 6 months. Khabib gets 9 months with the opportunity to go down to 6, but it doesn't look like he's going to take that opportunity. And then Zubaira and Abu Bakr get a year. And then, so that happens all in one shot. Now, before I get to you, what did you think of the punishments to those 4? Did you feel like they got it fair? Like it was the right call?
Yeah, I didn't really think about it. It doesn't really matter to me, you know.
Okay.
I don't really care what they got or didn't get.
Okay, but then you weren't addressed in that initial hearing. Then you had to like stay even longer, like a month and a half, to finally get your punishment. Why was that?
I think they were just continuing with the investigation and checking things and stuff like that. So, I mean, I guess it was good because I got like a really low fine and stuff. So I guess it was good that they did the investigation thoroughly. And I think they did a good job. You know, I mean, 7 months is a little bit long, but I'm just happy for it to be over because now I could fight. And like, that was what was really killing me. You know, a lot of people don't see it, but you know, I love to fight. So it sucked 7 months not fighting and just sitting there and like, you know, you feel like you're kind of lost. Like, I just want to fight. I want to, you know, get back with my career. I'm only 25. It takes a lot of time out of my, you know, not short career, but young career. So that really was frustrating.
Yeah. So in the end, you got 7 months and $7,500 fine. You're at peace with this, so you can return in early May.
because you have to be at peace with it, right? There's nothing I
Right.
could do about it. So, yeah, I guess I'm happy with it. Yeah, I'm gonna return too in May, so which is really good. I'm really excited about that.
Who you got? Who's your fight?
This guy named Max Humphreys. He's 3-2. He has at least like 10 amateur fights. I saw a lot of people saying like beat someone with a winning record. So I'm really happy about taking on someone with a winning record. No one gives me enough credit. I never fought amateur. I never fought MMA before, and I'm fighting guys that have 10, 12 amateur fights and then 4, 5, 6 pro fights. So I'm really excited to show again why I'm the best. And I guess we saw that with AJ too. It's not as easy as it looks. Everybody thinks it's easy until they get in there.
And so this fight is happening on the May 11th card in Chicago?
Yeah, Douglas Lima and MVP. I think Michael Chandler's on that card.
Yeah, against Pitbull.
I didn't really look into it because it doesn't matter because, everybody's watching me anyway. So it's in Chicago, though, so I'm happy to go back to Chicago. I really like Chicago. People there were cool. Have really good pizza, so I'm happy.
That's right. And, of course, that's where you won your debut last year. Now, will you be on the main card or the prelims?
Oh, come on. Is that a question? Like,
well, they put AJ on the prelims.
Yeah, it doesn't even compare me and AJ.
What's going on there between you
I think
two?
you're joking there. Huh?
What's the beef there?
There was no beef. It was just funny because he was commenting on all my stuff, saying like, "Yo, like you beat this guy, he sucked, like this, that," and usually if someone lost like that, I wouldn't like really care. Like I'd be, I feel bad for them. But he was like commenting on everything, like, "Dude, you beat this guy, he sucks, this, that." Like, and I was like, "All right, we'll see when he fights." And then he fought a guy that was 0-0, that never had a pro fight before. And he looked terrible, and I was just like, well, why were you like going after me every single time? Like you should be focused on yourself, not be focused on me. So I just thought that was funny. But me and AJ don't compare. Talking about prelims and main card. Come on, stop it. That's not even relevant.
Did you see his debut?
I saw it after. I saw some highlights. Yeah, he actually embarrasses jiu-jitsu. I don't know, kind of embarrasses the name of jiu-jitsu. So
wow,
I don't really like to watch it.
Okay, fair enough. Do you feel like you've lost out on a lot of opportunities? Like, would you have returned sooner had you not been suspended?
I had 3 or 4 fights that were trying to get booked and stuff like that. And it was miserable because I was like, man, I just want to fight so fucking bad.
Yeah.
And I had to stay calm and just let the Nevada Commission just kind of do their thing. So I kind of learned a lot about myself in those in those months.
Yeah.
So when you get like the thing that you love taken away from you, is really sucks. So I feel like I grew as a person and stuff like that, and I can't wait because I actually got to train a lot more, and had to focus on a fight. I just got to work on my skills and stuff like that. So I'm really excited to show like what I got.
And it also seems, at least from afar, it seems, at least to me, like you have found love. What is going on? I see it.
I guess so.
What's happening?
Yeah. Getting older, need to settle down. Rockstar life is catching up to me.
That's right. Yeah. What are you off the market now, Dillon?
Yeah, soon will be. We're in the beginning stages, but I think we will be. Oh, I will be soon. So I'm happy. It's good too when you're focusing on your career, just to have one girl that kind of has your back and looks out for you and stuff like that. So that actually makes me really happy.
How did you guys meet?
I slid in the DMs. But it worked
Really?
though. So
is that true?
What it is. Yeah.
Just like that, out of nowhere, you shot your shot?
You gotta shoot your shot, Ariel. That's the only way you get things in life,
Well done. How long ago?
I don't know, maybe like a month or 2 ago. It might be. I'm not sure.
Look at you.
I'm not ashamed of it. Sometimes you gotta slide in the DMs.
That's right. And it seems like you're flying all over. You're like on private planes. You're sitting courtside at basketball games. What's going on here?
Come on. That's just like a regular Tuesday for me.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, I'm happy for you. That is good. I also saw you training recently with Connor in New York, correct?
Yeah.
How is he doing?
He's great, He's training hard. He looks great. Can't wait for him to get back in there,
Is he going to be training elsewhere for his next fight?
I don't know. You got to ask him that. I'm not sure. I know he's just bouncing around right now, just kind of doing his thing, which is good, Sometimes getting out of your, like, hometown, just going different places and stuff like that. He's just doing his thing right now. You would have to ask him that question, though. I really don't know.
Okay, fair enough. But I saw him write like this nice tribute to you. Wow, on Instagram, it was unbelievable.
I was telling someone like I don't know if anybody could ever write something nicer about me. It was it was really cool. That was really nice of him. That I see Connor as like my idol, and I admire his career a lot. And he's one of my closest friends. You know, like I would go to him for advice and stuff. So when someone that you look up to writes something like that about you, it means a lot. You know.
What propelled him to do that?
I don't know.
Wow, what an honor.
Yeah, it was really cool. I was gonna like print in a frame.
Yeah, maybe get a
No,
tattoo
yeah,
on
but
your
that was
body.
really cool. I don't know about that, but it's a little bit too much.
But he's in a good spot.
Yeah, man, he's always in a good spot. That dude is, you know, he's the man. There's no one like him. You know, he kind of just is who he is, and like that's why he's the best fighter in the world.
Is he fighting Cerrone next?
Gotta ask him. Like, he could get me in trouble here. I don't know.
I'm just kidding.
Gotta have him back on the show. You gotta talk to him, man.
That's right. Let him know if you speak to him. We miss him.
I will. I'll let him know.
And so, okay, so as far as you are concerned, the whole issue with Khabib and the team and everything, is it dead? Are you moving on, or is this
I don't think it would ever be dead.
Really?
You know, yeah. But I can't wait for Conor to get that back. When he knocks him out, it's gonna feel so good. Conor's such a better fighter than him, so I can't wait for everybody to see that.
Okay, so you think inevitably it's going to happen? They will fight again. Conor wins.
I think 100% that happens again, and I can't wait for it. You know, in my opinion, well, I think in a lot of people's opinion, Conor's the best fighter in the world, so he's gonna prove that, and he'll get that win back.
Are you concerned that, you know, with all the emotion involved here and what happened the last time, that this could be even worse the next time they meet?
In what sense?
That that it could be, you know, there could be another brawl, there could be another incident, punches thrown.
I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, that I can't think about that. Who knows? That's like trying to predict the future. But all I know is when Conor knocks him out cold, you know, it'll feel fucking sweet.
Wow, that would be something.
Yeah.
I think the MMA world would combust if that happened.
No, it will happen. Mark my words. Trust me.
Okay.
I train with him. I know. Trust me.
Yeah. And it seems like he is very active these days. So it seems like he is itching, at least from my perspective, itching to get back in there.
Yeah, I mean, he's always active though. He's always training every day, and you know, he's ready to go.
Okay. And as far as you are concerned, so since you have this fight, is this fight a done deal? Max Humphreys, May 11th at Allstate Arena. Is that a done deal?
Yeah, done deal.
Okay.
It'll be on. I'm pretty sure I'm from Paramount Network. I'm really excited. I can't wait. I'm excited to see me fight because like when I fight, it's so beautiful. Like the way I tap people and stuff. It's like I'm actually excited to like watch the highlight after. It's so exciting. No, I'm joking. Like it's like I watch my first fight all the time, and I'm like, it's ridiculous. Like the technique and everything, you know.
You must be tired of watching the same fight now. You've only had one.
It doesn't get sick when it's so beautiful, you know.
That's right.
Like looking at like a Mona Lisa or something, you never get really sick of it.
I love it.
I was gonna go to boxing for a little bit too. You forgot about that?
No, what? What do you mean you forgot about it? Did you tell me that already?
No, I'm talking about with Jake Paul. You knew about that.
Oh yeah, that's right. What?
I think I scared him away actually.
What happened?
So we were at the same club one time, and he like wanted to talk to me. So it's like his brother came up to me first, Logan Paul, and was like, "Yo, listen, like we know you're like a real fighter, and like you're not gonna do anything, right? Like he just wants to talk to you." And I was like, "No, I'm fine. Like how am I gonna be like confrontational with the YouTuber?" So I was like, "All right. So like if I get like all crazy, he's gonna get scared and he won't do it." So I was like, "Let me take like the opposite approach and like be nice and like." So then we were talking, you know, and I think being opposite and so calm, I think scared him even more.
Oh.
But I think he does have to pay for the words that he said about me and about MMA or about boxing. So I might do it. We'll see.
Wow. What did he say about you specifically?
He was saying I was a bitch and that I'm a Connor's shadow and stuff. So, you know, you can't be just throwing things like that, then not have to answer for what you said.
Sure.
It was fun to roast him in person, though. He was trying to tell me he was undefeated wrestler in like high school or something. I was like, dude, you were like a JV wrestler. He was like, no, I wasn't. Like, ask my brother. I went undefeated. And I was like, bro, stop it. Like, you know, it's ridiculous. But, yeah, it was funny.
So,
I wouldn't mind doing it, but it has to be right, you know.
Is this a thing that you've explored?
Right. I don't know. It was kind of like cheesy, and I was like, no, I'm not going to fight YouTuber. But, like, sometimes when people say stuff like that, they need to learn that you can't just be saying stuff like that about someone that can, you know, end your life with one finger, you know?
Right.
So I think for, like, the MMA community, I might have to do it, but we'll see what happens after this fight.
Now, what about Kevin Lee? Because it seemed like there was an offer on the table for you guys to have a grappling match. He said that...
Yeah, but that's stupid because he said that we need to do strikes. He was like, let's do slaps or whatever, and he knows that UFC wouldn't let him do that because it becomes like a sanctioned fight. If he's saying, okay, let's do EBI rules. That's why a lot of fighters can't do EBI rules, because it's basically like fighting, and you're signed to a certain organization. So that was his way out of it, saying like, listen, like, I'll do slaps, because if we don't do slaps and we grapple, then you're gonna tap me with a leg lock. Like, it's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, you know?
So you don't think he was ever actually serious about this?
Come on, he was saying he reverse triangled me. Like,
Yeah.
he's a freaking wrestler. He probably can't unlock his legs in a triangle. He's played so stiff.
Did you actually roll with him once?
Yeah, we did roll together.
And how'd it
He
go?
was cool. I had messages from him, like, asking me to train again and stuff like that. I don't know where he came up with that. I think he was just trying to, like, get himself a fighter. Because usually what happens is a lot of the fighters, like, they have, like, a big name, and then when they start going irrelevant, they start calling me out because I'm in every article. Once you call my name out, it's in every article, and you get, like, a lot of, like, attention. Probably get girls DMing you and stuff. So it's, like, it's nuts. Like, so basically, whenever they're starting to go irrelevant, like, Dos Anjos did the same thing. He was going irrelevant. They called my name out. Yeah, it's cool. I'm kind of used to it, though. I kind of like it. It is what it is.
Yeah, there was one period there, like on a Friday afternoon, where you had, I think, Dos Anjos, you had Bisping, you had like 3 or 4 guys just all coming after you, and you were involved in all of it. Jake Shields, I think you had a thing with again.
Think about it. I'm 1-0.
Yeah.
I'm just 1-0. These guys are like been fighting since I was like 10, and they're all just trying to call me out and like start stuff with me. It's hilarious. But I think it is like flattery, you know. So I don't really mind it. Let them talk, get their clout. I really want to go against Ben Askren though. That's what I want to do.
Yes.
I was talking to Coker. We should do like a cross promotion. I'll put up like $1 million versus him, because it would be the easiest fight ever.
Okay, wait, say that again. You'll put up $1 million just
To fight Ben
him?
Askren.
Really?
Dude, I would tap him so easy, Ariel. Like, it's actually a joke. He's so unathletic, and he's so bad on the ground. Like, I don't know.
Now, are we talking like a grappling match or an actual MMA fight?
I mean, come on, grappling match. That would be like, that wouldn't be a match. It would be like 20, 30 seconds. A fight, I'd still be in the first round, but he wouldn't want to fight me. It's too easy. He knows it too, because like I know his weaknesses, and I like say it, and then he's kind of like, oh shit. But
what are his
I
weaknesses?
actually don't mind. I actually don't mind watching him fight. Like, all beef aside, he's actually fun to watch. So
What are his weaknesses when you see him compete?
he can't defend the legs. He's really bad at defending his lower body, especially if I pull guard or something. You know, he wouldn't know what to do. He punches like a pillow. He doesn't have any power. So I mean, against me, you have no power. I'm eventually going to get to the ground, and I'm going to submit you. So he's very bad at defending his lower body. And he gets caught in triangles a lot. When he fought Liam McGirt, he got caught in a triangle. He always gets caught in a bunch of submissions, but the guys he's fighting aren't like the best submission artists, so he doesn't get finished. But I just want to beat him before someone else beats him. So
Wow, so you actually brought this to Coker's attention?
haven't yet. I'm thinking about it though. I kind of feel bad because like he's kind of has like a lot of like stuff going on for him. Then he's like coming out, like everybody's all excited. He's talking shit, and I don't want to really like ruin it for him. But I'm thinking I might have to. Who knows? We might do a cross promotion fight. That'd be cool. That never happened before.
No, something tells me the UFC wouldn't want it to happen. But why? Like, why him?
Yeah, because you'd be the A side. Because like you know.
But why him? If you say that you like him, why him?
Not that I like him personally. I just like the way he fights. But maybe that's why I want to fight him, because I don't know. It would just be an easy fight.
Yeah, I saw you guys going back. He was talking about you. You were talking about him on.
I want to know too. A lot of people saying that like I talked a lot and I can't back it up and stuff. So let's see.
Okay. Lofty plans. I like it. You're back.
Yeah. I mean, what else do you want to know? I can keep going.
Who else is on your hit list?
That's a hard one. There's so many. I get called that all the time. It was like, it's so much.
Every day. You have a knack. I don't know what it is, but a great skill. It seems like you're just able to get under people's skin very easily. I don't know what it is.
I don't know either. I'm so nice. I don't see it,
And what about actual BJJ competition? Are we putting that on hold?
I'm doing ADCC, which I'm really excited for. That I want to focus on a lot. The weight cut's going to be really hard because I'm doing the 170 division. And in ADCC, you have to make the weight 3 days in a row. So I'm going to have to transform my body a lot. But I really, really want to win ADCC. That would be really cool for me.
And when is that?
That is September 28th, I think, in California.
Okay. And
I just want to be as active as possible.
Sure. Yeah.
I've been getting the like craziest grappling matches though, like crazy. I don't know if I can even talk about them, but I've been offered like Chris Lieben and stuff. It's like,
whoa,
actually crazy.
For who?
Yeah. I don't know if I can talk about it, but
why?
I don't know.
Who's gonna stop
you? I don't know if because I didn't sign it, but I don't know if I'm gonna do it yet. But I'm trying to focus on MMA. Everybody keeps trying to get me into doing boxing, grappling, freaking everything, ping pong, whatever my name is in, it brings numbers. So it's like they're asking me to do everything when I just want to focus on fighting and being the best.
So are you going to fight multiple times this year? Is that the plan?
That's the plan. That was the plan last year. Everybody's like blaming me. It's like I got suspended for 7 months.
Right.
So, but yeah, I mean, I want to. That's my goal. I want to just get to the top as fast as possible.
Okay. And
it's like for me, like I could see my path so like in front of me that it excites me. Just have to keep winning and everything's gonna come.
And will you be training at SPG Ireland for this fight?
I haven't talked to John about it yet. Probably I have to talk to him.
Okay.
And decide. I'm in New York right now. I wasn't home for a while, like when I was in Ireland, and then I went to Vegas, and then so it's kind of nice to be home a little bit. But I'm gonna talk to Connor and decide whatever we're gonna do because to see.
Okay, so you want to train with him if possible?
Yeah, of course. I mean, Connor's the best fighter in the world. Why would I want to train with him?
Right.
Whenever I train with him, I'm so confident when I go and fight. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Wow. And so okay, so then you have this fight. You said that ADCC was a little problematic because it was 170. What fight is this at? What weight is this at?
The Dillon Danis weight, 175.
All right. Wow. You get your
I made my own weight class.
Wow, that is amazing.
You could do that when you're me, though, Ariel.
Is that something you asked for, or do they just say?
What do you think?
Well, you're business partners, right?
We want you to fight 175.
Yeah. Why?
I mean,
why can't you do 170?
On this card, right? MVP and Douglas Lima and then Michael Chandler. Let's see which fight gets the most views.
Okay.
Then we'll see. Come on.
Do you know anything about this guy?
No, not really.
Okay.
I don't really care. I mean, when you think about the guy too much, you forget about your own game. I'm putting him in my game, so
sure.
It'll be exciting.
He's just a faceless man.
And I learned that from Connor, just go forward and take them out. That's how he fights, and that's how I fight. So just go forward and just let's go,
But eventually, if you want to make a run at a title, it's going to have to be at 170 or 185.
Or I can make the champ come to 175 because why not? Come after my belt.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe, because I know you were talking about that tournament, obviously it couldn't work out, but do you think by the time the tournament is done, you'll be ready for the winner?
Yeah, why not? We'll see. I'm only 25 and 1-0. Just trying to take it slow, but I don't really care. It doesn't matter because I'm going to take all of them out anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, why not?
All right. So do you feel like we cleared the air on this whole 229 thing?
No, what do you think? I think so. I mean, there was nothing really to be cleared. It was all on camera, so.
Well, it's good to get your side of the story.
Yeah, I'm happy just to kind of get it out there. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I want to focus on my career and fighting and stuff like that. That was just something, But
yeah, it seems you still put out the video, the photos and stuff, the screen grabs. It doesn't look like anyone really wants this to die, if I'm being honest. So.
Yeah, but I mean, the reason I put that there is like, how you gonna jump over the cage and attack someone and then run away after?
Right.
It doesn't make any sense to me. Like, there's no such thing as halfway crooks.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well said, Dillon. Well said. Well, it's good to catch up with you, my man. I'm very happy.
All good. Anything else? You're all good?
Yeah, can't complain. I'm not.
How you been?
How have I been? Not bad.
Yeah. Good?
Yeah. Just doing my
thing
here.
ESPN stuff is killing it. You're on ESPN now, Sports Center.
Yeah. See that?
That's pretty cool, huh?
I made it.
I remember when I was a kid watching Sports Center. Now you're on it, huh?
Crazy, right?
Man.
It's like you.
Happy for you, though.
Fighting for Bellator. You made it.
No one else like you, though, so I'm happy for you to be on Sports Center. You deserve it.
Thank you, Dillon. I appreciate that very much. I do.
Yeah,
and
no worries.
Congrats on finding love.
I appreciate it.
Don't let it get to you, though. Sometimes
don't jinx it, though. Don't jinx
it. Okay,
it.
I'm sorry. Well, if you want me to put in a good word, like a reference or something, I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, I'll let her know. See what she says.
Okay. Thank you.
I want to give a shout out to Paradigm too.
Please.
Shout out to Audi and Tim and all them. They've been helping me throughout this whole process to get all this stuff squared away with Nevada, and they did a really good job and they had my back. So I just want to give a shout out to them too.
All right, respect. Well, congrats on getting the fight. Congrats on all of this being behind you. I'm looking forward to it. May 11th, Allstate Arena, the return of Dillon Danis. You don't have a nickname, right? Do you have a nickname?
I have like 20, but I mean, you could pick which one you like.
But you don't have like one, like Connor has one.
Yeah, I don't have one.
Okay, well, the return of Dillon Danis.
Usually the fighters call me Daddy, but you don't have to stick with that one.
We didn't even plan that. That was perfect. That was really well done on your part. I'm looking forward to it. Welcome back, my man. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you, bro. Thank you for having me.
All right, there he is. Dillon Danis, the one and only, returning May 11th, Allstate Arena against Max Humphreys. You heard it here first. Appreciate his time, and I'm looking forward to his return. All right, so there's the story. Perhaps now we can finally put 229 behind us. Something tells me it won't go anywhere anytime soon. Okay, in a matter of moments, we're going to be joined by Yoel Romero or Alex Volkanovski. It depends who picks up the phone first. Romero is fighting Jacare Souza on April 27th in Sunrise, Florida, UFC Fight Night. Sunrise? Fort Lauderdale? Not Miami. But while we wait for him, let's run through a couple other things that happened over the past week. BJ Penn is returning. He's fighting Clay Guida. Actually, the Chicago Tribune just reported that Nina Ansaroff and Tatiana Suarez have been added to the June Chicago pay-per-view. Also, Joanne Calderwood versus Caitlin Chukagian. So you will recall that Tatiana Suarez was on the program a couple weeks back. She now has her fight, and one would assume that that would be a number one contender fight at 115 pounds. As I said, BJ Penn versus Clay Guida, that has been added to UFC 237 in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. That's the card on May 11th. So it's the return of BJ Penn, who hasn't won a fight in 10 years. A little surprised after the Ryan Hall fight that he is back, but he is back. We talked about Anthony Smith versus Alexander Gustafsson. That is going down June 1st in Stockholm, Sweden. Aspen Ladd against Sajara Eubanks is happening May 18th in Rochester. A quick update on a guest that we had last week on the program, Johnny Walker. Right after the show, we found out that just suffered a mild sprained shoulder. He's going to be out for just a few weeks. His manager told me that they wanted Alexander Gustafsson, but of course, Gustafsson now unavailable. And so we'll see what they end up doing with Johnny Walker. Corey Anderson, a little upset that he didn't get the Gustafsson fight. I'm told that there was some talk of doing Luke Rockhold versus Corey Anderson. Very preliminary talk, but it is something that has been discussed for the Chicago pay-per-view card. So we shall see if that materializes. Speaking of fights that have materialized, Oleksiy Oleinik, he has signed to fight Walt Harris May 4th in our nation's capital, Ottawa, that is. I'm looking forward to that. And I reported a few weeks ago about a fight between Kevin Lee and Gregor Gillespie, and I had heard that that was a fight that they were targeting for Rochester on May 18th. But now I am being told that that fight is off and they're going in a different direction for both men. So nothing yet for Kevin Lee, Gregor Gillespie. They won't be fighting each other. I'd love to see that fight at some point, but right now, that fight not being discussed. Congratulations to Paige Van Zandt, who's going to be in the Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. She announced that last week as well. And how about our old friend Paulie Malignaggi, who signed with Bare Knuckle FC? Yes, Bare Knuckle FC. Paulie Malignaggi coming out of retirement to compete in Bare Knuckle FC. And the plan is, if Artem Lobov defeats Jason Knight on April 6th, in his debut, Lobov's debut in BKFC, the plan is June 20th to have Paulie Malignaggi versus Artem Lobov. Yes, Paulie Malignaggi versus Artem Lobov in Bare Knuckle FC. Could you imagine? That would be quite the scene. That would be wild. So they're going to play off of the whole feud with, of course, Conor and Paulie. Speaking of Conor McGregor, you may have seen Donald Cerrone's comments to ESPN's Brett Okamoto last week, where he essentially said that the UFC wanted their fight to be the co-main event of the July card, the International Fight Week card, and that was proving to be a roadblock. And also it did seem like, and perhaps I'm wrong, it seemed like maybe he was, ramping up his quote-unquote trash talk of Mr. Conor. And it seemed like a bit of a change in his approach, his demeanor. Who was saying that the old approach wouldn't work out? There was a guy who said that maybe that wasn't the best way to go about getting the fight. I don't remember, but there was definitely a guy. By the end of the show, maybe I'll think of that guy. For now, though, let us move along to our next guest. What a mensch this man is. He returns to action on May 11th, Rio de Janeiro. Massive fight for him against the former UFC featherweight champion, the one and only Jose Aldo. This man, Alexander the Great Volkanovski, who is waking up at the crack of dawn to join us. Amazing stuff. Alex, I really appreciate it. And there's a part of me that feels bad for making you wake up so early, but thank you so much for doing this.
Nah, it's no worries at all, mate. You didn't wake me up. I had to be up. I'm actually at hospital because my daughter's just having a surgery today. So I'm
What?
just here at the. Oh yeah, it's nothing too bad. Just getting the tonsils and adenoids out.
Oh
But
my gosh.
yeah, I'm here already. So we're up early. We're always up early.
Okay, and this was something that was planned. It's not an emergency.
Yeah. It was planned.
Okay. Well, wow. I'm sure you have a million things on your mind right now. So I almost feel worse making you do this while at the hospital.
It's honestly, it's fine. Yeah, no
Okay.
worries at all.
All right, cool. Well, I do wish her the best. I hope it goes very smoothly, and congratulations to you on getting this fight. But I have to be honest, Alex, when I found out about the fight, the first thing that I thought of was our discussion on the radio show in February when we talked about the possibility of this fight, and you told me you liked it, you liked the opponent, you didn't love the date because your best mate was getting married that date. So what has happened?
Yeah. It was crazy. I was with that. I remember people were throwing that around. He obviously mentioned my name, and I was like, "Oh yeah, sweet." And then I remember my wife saying, "Oh, that's the same date as Eli's wedding, which I'm going to be best man for." And I was like, "Oh, what?" So I don't know if you noticed, I started putting posts out there for 236. Like I was trying to get opponents for 236. I was trying to put the feelers out for a different date, just so I could make the wedding. But they wanted that fight that date, and obviously I have to take it. So what happened is my mate was aware of what was going on, and then his fiance and him decided to change the date. So now I can make the wedding because it's going to be a few weeks after my fight. So crazy.
So wait a second. They were scheduled. They had the date. The world knew the date. Everyone knew the date. May 11th, they're getting married. And they've decided so that you can take this fight against Jose Aldo, they've decided to change their day.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Well, I don't think they put the invites out there yet. Obviously, most people knew when it was, and the churches and the reception and all that stuff was pretty much organised. And they, Lauren, that's Eli's wife, fiance, sorry, was just like, oh yeah, well, I'll at least try. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. So put the feelers out, started hitting people up, and everyone was like, yeah, no worries, no worries. And it happened. So they were like, she said, it would kill her if she didn't at least try. And that's what she done. And now I can make the wedding. So, I know a lot of people will be like, oh yeah, it's just a wedding, get over it. But, I'm a loyal man. And, that would have hurt me if I couldn't make it. I've been best mates with this guy for a long time. And, we're very, very close. So he just changed his date for, the wedding date for me. So that just shows you how close we are.
Wow. So
it would have been a massive, I don't know what you would, heartbreak for me if I couldn't make it. But, they done that, and I'm, so grateful for it. And, now that just makes me want to win even more.
That is unbelievable. It actually gives me goosebumps hearing that story. That's one of the nicest things I've ever heard any friend do for another friend. Now, let's give them the proper shout-out. This is Eli Hutchinson and Lauren Whitney, correct?
Yes, that's it.
I hope they don't mind that I've said their names, but I think they deserve to have their names said because it's an amazing, unbelievably unselfish thing that they've just done.
Yeah, very, mate. That just shows you what type of people they are, you know what I mean? So that's incredible for me to be, to have someone that could do something like that for me. So, great people, and I got so much respect for them, and I can't wait to win this big fight. Dedicate that to my family and them.
And so you will be the best man, right? So you're an important part of this wedding.
Yeah, I'm the best man.
Wow. And what's the new date?
The 21st
of May.
Of May. I hope I got that right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the 21st.
Okay, I just want to make sure the UFC doesn't call you right after that fight against Aldo. That seems like a quick turnaround, so I think you're good.
Yeah, exactly. So they've probably done that on purpose. So, that works out good.
And by the way, what was your reaction when you found out that they wanted to do this for you?
Well, they sort of told me that they were going to try, and I'm like I actually couldn't believe it. I told even my wife, I'll go, ring Lauren, tell her don't be stupid. There's no way they're going to do that for me. That'll make me feel even worse if they even try. And then she wrote back, look, we'll just put the feelers out there. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But it'll kill me if I don't at least try. I know how much Eli wants him to be there. So, it will kill me if I didn't try. So that's what she told me. I'm like, what? And I still was like shaking my head like, you can't do it. And then a couple of weeks later, I remember the wife was talking to Lauren and they said they changed the date. And I was like, there's no way. Like, there's absolutely no way. But yeah, that's exactly what happened. And again, it just shows you what type of people they are. Great people, and I'm proud to be a part of their lives.
Incredible.
Proud that
Wow.
they're a part of mine.
Yeah. What an amazing story, and what an opportunity this is for you, May 11th, to go to Rio and fight the consensus greatest featherweight champion of all time, Jose Aldo. I mean, this must be a dream scenario. I know you wanted a title shot. This has to be the next best thing, correct?
Oh yeah, 100%. Look, obviously I was putting the feelers out there for the title shot. I didn't think that was 100% going to happen, but it's worth a shot. My name was getting thrown out there a fair bit, so my job was done with that shout out. But at the same time, this is 100% number one contender fight. I take out Aldo in his home country. You cannot deny me the title after that. I'm going to be the guy that everyone's talking about. I'm going to be the guy that everyone's like, yep, this is the guy to do it. And mate, I can't wait to go and show the world. I'm in really good nick. I still got so much more time left. I'm going to be in prime condition. You're going to see the best Alexander, the great Volkanovski you've ever seen.
Have you been told, or your management team, have they been told explicitly, you win this fight, we are giving you a title shot?
Oh, look, obviously you don't get things, and it's hard to get things like that written in contract. I was like, it would be good to get something like that in a contract, but, they're just, pretty much saying, look, man, you beat Aldo, you're the guy. Like, they didn't really make any promises, but at the same time, I don't know how I wouldn't be. You get what I mean? Aldo's absolutely, taking out everyone. He's number one contender now. He's only lost to, the champions. So, that just shows you. I take him out. I'm definitely that guy.
How do you feel about the current champion, Max Holloway, moving up to 155, not for a title shot, but for an interim title shot? What was your reaction when you found out about that?
There's no surprise. It's happening every bloody month now, it seems. So, at the same time, I can't whinge about it because, if he wins that belt, he's going to be fighting Khabib, and we ain't going to wait around that long. So that means I'm expecting to fight for an interim title straight after that. So I can't really whinge about these interim titles because I know if I got that opportunity, I'd do it. So, credit to him. He's going to try and do the whole double champ thing. He's in a position where I guess he can, he's won the title, defended the title a couple of times. The division is definitely not done though. So people can shut up with that. But, I'm going to go do my thing, and, I'm going to be the next in line 100%.
But was there a part of you, considering the streak that you're on, the impressive streak that you're on, I mean, was there a part of you that was like, come on, I'm right here. Like you're going up for an interim belt. I can understand going for a chance to win, a secondary belt, an official title, but for an interim title, like, do you feel like maybe there's a duty as a champion to stick around? If you're not gonna fight for the actual belt, then you need to stick around in your division and defend that title.
Well, 100%. I totally agree with that. These interim titles, again, everyone's funny with it, and so am I. But it's just becoming so normal now that it's just it is what it is. So like I obviously can't just dwell on things like that. I sort of know how the game works right now. So suck it up. Otherwise, if I start carrying on about every time something like that happens, I'll never be happy.
Sure. You strike me as the kind of person who relishes the idea of going to Rio and fighting Jose Aldo there, like being public enemy number one. Everyone's rooting against you, and you go there and knock off their guy. Am I right?
Well, usually I'm not an enemy of anyone. I'm a pretty nice bloke, so I pride myself on that. I'm respectful. Obviously, they're going to be very passionate. They love him over there. But I mean, at the same time, again, me going and taking him out in his home country is really setting a statement. And I believe I'm the guy to do it because, me fighting over there, it's weird. When I go out and fight, I've got this, like, I could say it's sort of a tunnel vision or a tunnel focus where I do not hear or think about anything but what's in that cage, So, even when I'm fighting back home and the crowd's going nuts, obviously after my fights, I can really hear it and really sort of, take it all in. But while I'm fighting, I've got no idea it's there, So I'm the guy to do this, that's not going to rock me one bit. Whether it helps him, if I'm going to be putting that pressure on, if he's tired, if them chanting, is that going to really give him that extra leg to keep going? Maybe. It could help him in a way, but at the same time, will the adrenaline rush from them going crazy, wear him down even more? Will he pull the trigger, a lot more because of that. I believe if he does that, he's gonna wear down, because I'm gonna put a crazy pace on anyone they put in front of me, and I don't think many people can put up with that.
And we had this debate after his last victory. He looked very good against Renato Moicano. Do you have to go? You good?
No.
Okay.
I'm
we
all
were,
good.
we were debating, is Aldo back, or is he just fighting, perhaps lesser competition these days, because he's won 2 in a row, first 2 finishes in a row in quite some time. Which theory do you subscribe to? Is the old Aldo back, or is he just fighting perhaps lesser competition in this latest string of fights?
I don't think he ever lost it, to be honest with you. I just think, obviously, the game changes, the game evolves. He's probably not what isn't as good as he once was. Probably, he's slowed down that little bit, maybe. But I mean, the game's evolving, and you've seen a couple of people take advantage of that, and I believe I'm going to do the same. But he's still one of the best fighters in the world. But at the same time, as I said, the game's evolving. And I'm going to, again, put a pressure on him. I'm going to throw things at him that I don't believe he's seen in there. And I think I'm going to be the next one to take him out as well.
Do you recall the first time you watched a Jose Aldo fight? And if it's been a while, is it somewhat surreal to see your face next to his, like that you're actually fighting this guy next?
Yeah, well, it sort of is. Yeah, definitely. So when I'm doing these things, I'm doing interviews and stuff like that. I just say what's on my mind, and
Right.
it's all right. But then I do see photos when I'm just sitting back home, hanging around just like any normal person, and I look at these photos and I sit there and I'm like going far out. That's Aldo. You know what I mean? It's look, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a still fan of this sport. I'm a fanboy these type of guys. Like I say, I'll probably see him in the street. I'll be like, oh, look, it's Aldo. How good's that? You know what I mean? And I'll be fighting him in a couple of days after that. But that's just me, and people could say whatever they want about that. I know once I'm in the cage, I'm going to be ready. But at the same time, look what he's done. Look what he's done in this sport. So I've got a lot of respect for him. I'm a fan. Even Chad Mendes, I remember just not long ago, I said, how you going, mate? Because I follow him on Instagram. And even him writing back to me, I was like, oh, wow, he just wrote back to me. How good's that? But that's just me, man. I love the game. I'm a fan of the sport, but at the same time, I'm a big part of the sport, and I'm planning to do big things. But I'm going to show respect where it's due.
Yeah, you are already doing big things. It's funny, the parallels between you and your teammate Israel Adesanya, because he just fought the greatest middleweight champion of all time, right? In most people's eyes, and there he is getting that opportunity. He beats him, and now you're about to fight the greatest champion in your respective weight class. So I'm wondering if you have that respect, and one of the big talking points going into that Adesanya fight was, would he show him too much respect? Would he not have a killer instinct against Anderson? He even talked afterwards. There was a part of him was like, don't take this punch, don't keep going, don't keep going. Do you think you'll talk to him about what it's like fighting someone that you have that much respect for?
Yeah, I guess I will, but at the same time, I'm so worried about what I'm doing in there. I set a pace. I like to get them going at my rhythm and things like that. So at the same time, man, I'm a pretty focused dude. I'm not saying like everyone else is, and they are, but I just don't think that stuff will faze me. I've got a job to do, but at the same time, I will talk to him, see what it's like, because I'm actually going to be heading there next week. So I'll be doing a couple of weeks there at City Kickboxing. I'll head home and then I'll head back there. So I'm sure I'm going to have a chat to him. And you're right about that. Yeah. So I'm planning on fighting for the title after this, or the interim. Like I said, if Max wins, he's going to wait around for Khabib, and I'm not waiting around that long. I want to fight regularly. I want to make that money. So I'll be fighting someone. And if or maybe after this fight, I'll be like, come on, mate. If you're indecisive of you fighting a lightweight or a featherweight, come fight me. I'll make a decision for you.
and what a scene it would have been. Honestly, I feel like there's maybe a missed opportunity here. Adesanya, Gaslam, Volkanovski, Holloway in the co-main event. We could have had a pretty special scene there, right, for your team. And it's not like it would have been gratuitous. I mean, it would have made all the sense in the world, right, for both of you fighting, for the belt on that particular card. That would have been incredible. And Holloway's on that card, just not against you.
Yeah, man, that would have been unreal. That would have been incredible. Hey, maybe next card. Maybe we both can. He's going to have the interim, and then if he wins that fight, he's got to fight Robert Whittaker.
That's right.
And that'll probably be the same timeline as when I'd like to fight again. So we can make it happen next fight, maybe.
In your opinion, what is the key to defeating Jose Aldo in 2019? What comes to mind when I ask that question?
Just work my game, and put it on heavily. Obviously, it's going to be dangerous at the start, but I'm going to be ready for that. I'm tough enough to get through that, and I'm just going to set a pace.
And is part of the goal not having any black eyes or anything, so you could be nice, nice looking for the pictures, the wedding pictures 10 days later?
Yeah, mate, I'll just add a bit of character, so it's all right.
That's right. Wow. I love that story. Shout out to Eli Hutchinson and Lauren Whitney. I actually think that we have a photo that we'll share afterwards. I don't know if we have it right now of both you and Eli together. You do seem like the best of mates. And that's one of the most amazing things. It's the first thing I thought of when I saw this fight. I was like, wait a second. He told me that was the date that he had the wedding. What's he going to do? It's horrible. Because I was actually in that position. Funny story, UFC 233 was one of my best friend's wedding this past January. And I was like, oh, my God, I'm going to have to miss the wedding. And then they canceled the card, the one that was January 26th in Anaheim. So I was so happy. So for you, your friend canceled his date. Yeah. Kind of worked out. But I know those feels because there's a part of you that you want to do your job, but you also want to be there for a lifelong friend.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, I was trying to, they were talking. Obviously, as soon as Aldo mentioned my name and his manager mentioned my name, I still haven't got word of anything there, but I'm like, oh, shit, something's in the works here. So I was like, and then the wife told me about the date, and I'm like, man, this is crazy. So that's why, I don't know if you remember that post I put, 236 is looking good, and I put a couple of names out there. I'm just trying to put the feelers out for a different card, you know what I mean? So I was doing whatever I could to change the date. But, it is what it is. And, I got such a good mate that he changed his wedding day for me.
Well, congrats on getting the fight. Congrats on getting the dates changed. And most importantly, I have to be honest, Alex, as a father, I can't stop thinking about your daughter. I know you said it's routine, but I know the angst that's involved when a child has to go to the hospital. So I do wish that everything goes okay with her procedure and that, the aftermath, the recovery is okay as well.
Yeah. Appreciate that, mate.
All right. All the best to you, Alex. Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me, mate.
Always
good.
Pleasure. There he is. Alexander the Great Volkanovski. Wow, what a story that is. Eli Hutchinson and Lauren Whitney, incredible friends. They have just changed their wedding date for their mate, their best mate, so that he can attend UFC 237 and fight against Yoel Romero, fight against Jose Aldo. That is unbelievable. That's one of the nicest things I've ever seen anyone do or heard of anyone do. That's incredible. Change the date. Wow. That's amazing. What a big fight that is. May 11th, Rio de Janeiro. Okay. Speaking of Yoel Romero, let's not waste any time. Let's say hello to the soldier of God. He is back from his reality show. He is fighting Jacare Souza April 27th in Sunrise, Florida. Shalom, my friend. How are you?
Shalom, Ariel. How are you? I'm good. Thank you.
I missed you, Yoel. How was the reality show experience?
Oh, it's amazing. I have a beautiful experience with the Exathlon people. I never forget this time because I have a beautiful time in Exathlon.
How many weeks were you away for?
Almost 8.
8 weeks. And during that time, you can't speak to your family?
No.
Oh my gosh. Is that hard?
When you have one mission in your heart, you say, that's the mission. I see the forward, and that's it,
Wow. And so what happened?
I'm missing my family, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no, I understand. So what happened? You got eliminated?
No, I have a little pain in my knee.
Oh.
When I'm running, I have a pain, and my knee is a little, what do you say, inflammation.
Okay. Inflammation.
Inflammation in my knee. It's better say stop the competition.
Okay, so you didn't actually get eliminated. It's because of an injury you had to bow out. You had to be removed.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was thinking, there's no way Yoel got eliminated. He was going to kick all those people's butts. I mean, I saw the clips. You were killing them. You were like 10 years older than all of them, and you were still killing them. You're unbelievable.
No, but and the Exathlon have many good guys. Many talents. Yeah, it's very hard too.
Okay, so Yoel, we all thought if you get out of that show in relative short order that you would finally fight Paulo Costa April 27th in Florida. But you're not fighting Paulo Costa. You're fighting Jacare again. Why aren't you fighting Paulo Costa?
The problem is what I can hear is Paulo Costa is he had the positive test for the USADA. That's what happened.
Oh, you were told that Paulo Costa failed the USADA drug test.
Yeah, that's what I hear. The UFC called my manager and say Paulo Costa is out because he's positive. Now we need to see another opponent, and they say we have the Jacare also. I say okay, I fight him.
Okay. Were you disappointed when you found out that you weren't fighting Paulo? Because it seemed like this is a fight that they wanted to make for a long time. He spoke about you in the past. What was your reaction?
No, it's that's the UFC. That's MMA. That's a sport. It is what it is. My mind is open. I know is you have a before I have many opening for one show, and you need to your mind preparation for this. And I say okay, it is what it is. Can fight. Okay, give me another opening.
Did they tell you what he failed for?
Okay.
Did they tell you what the drug test failure was for?
77.
No a él.
No. I know.
Si te dijeron el examen que le dieron, ¿qué tipo de steroides fue?
I know. I don't know which the steroid we have.
Okay. Do you know how long he's out for? Like, is this something that he could come back soon? You could fight him after? They tell you? No.
No. I don't have idea. I only say my manager saying Paulo Costa, USA saying Paulo Costa's out for positive test, and now you need to take another opponent.
Okay.
That's only what I know.
Okay. It's interesting that they haven't announced this, but I will tell you that I've reached out to find out why he wasn't fighting against you on April 27th, and no one's getting back to me. So hopefully now we can get an official reason as to why he's out. Well, you're smiling. How come you're smiling, Yoel?
Because
Yo no sabía cuál fue la excusa porque él no ya lo dijo.
Oh my God. I don't know. So, when the UFC called my manager saying that's the reason for the Paulo Costa's out, but now the people know why is the reason why the Paulo Costa go out.
Okay.
I say I don't want the people happen something like this. It's very bad. When the people have a bad experience. Only what I thinking, what I want is como se dice que lo siento mucho por él. I feel bad for him. He need to learn. And so he take it, he not take it. He know. So he take it, he not take it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But they changed the rules since what happened to you happened, because now they wait until the whole process is done before making the announcement. With you, they announced it early on, and then you had to go fight for your innocence. So do you like this process better, that they just wait for the whole thing to play out so that you're not viewed as guilty right off the bat?
I don't have a problem with this. I don't have a problem. Believe me, I don't have a problem. That's the sport. Maybe you can fight this guy on, and you mind you fight for somebody, and another day something happened.
Mm-hmm. Okay, fair enough. So you're fighting Jacare. You beat him at UFC 194. Close fight. Do you like the idea of fighting him again?
Yeah. I not thinking about the last fight when I fight him. Every day is different. That's what I thinking. Every day is different. it's very close fight, and now we have another opportunity.
Mm. Will you watch that first fight as you prepare for this one? Will you go back and watch it and study it?
Yeah, for sure. The most important is my mind. My mind is my mind is ready for the fight, for the not only for the Yagare, for another opponent too. I am ready for the fight. My mind is. They say I am very happy for I come back for the octagon, and I wanted the people see the soldier of God come by again. That's what I want.
And to fight in your now hometown of Florida, close to where you're from in Cuba, is this something that's you had that great fight against Lyoto Machida in Florida not that long ago? Is this something that you like very much, fighting home?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm very happy. I can fight and very close from Miami. I want to fight for Latino people, for the Cuban people. I wanted to fight in Miami, but
yeah,
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened in the arena. The UFC moved.
Wow.
Normally we fight in Miami Heat here for the house for Miami Heat.
Yeah.
But I don't know what happened. And now we move a little more
to Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, Fort Lauderdale. Yeah.
It's not as sexy, Fort Lauderdale, right? Miami is sexy. South Beach, that's what everyone loves.
Yeah, many Cuban, yeah.
Yes.
But it is what it is, It's Fort Lauderdale is a house too, It's very close from Miami. I know that many fans go to see the UFC show. I'm very happy for this.
And how's your knee feeling now?
I am very good.
No
feeling
problem?
Good. No, I am recovered. I come to do for my daughter. I told with my daughter, say, I talked to him about my about my knee, and now today running, I can training a little bit today. I'm not feeling bad. I waiting for the second session today, for the training today.
Oh, okay.
I'm good.
And I know that you were away, but have you seen everything that's going on in the middleweight division? It's a crazy time. Robert Whitaker and his bowel and Gaslam, Adesanya, all this stuff. Have you paid attention to any of this? Did you hear about this?
Yeah, I stayed 2 months out, but now I come back. I see, I can hear everything about my division. I'm very happy. I'm very excited too, because we have many talent. That's good because now the division is more hard.
Yeah,
that's good.
Yes,
that's
there's
good.
a lot going on. So you're going to stay at 185, right? Because I know there were plans last year of you going up to 205.
No. I stay. I still here in 185. Yeah.
Okay. Did you miss it? Your last fight was in when was it? In June, right? Did you miss?
Yeah.
Competing.
Yes. Yes. I miss, but the time is the God, not the man. The time is the God. I say, God, that's the plan for God. I rest a little bit, and now I have a hungry too. That's good. That's good too.
Well, it's good to see you back, Yoel. Welcome back. I'm happy that everything's going well for you, that your knee is okay, that the reality show experience was good, and I'm looking forward. That was an amazing fight, you versus Jacare. You guys went back and forth. It was incredible. You still think you won that fight, right?
Yeah, I won. I won. He won the fight.
And now it's going to be 5 rounds as opposed to 3, so this is very interesting.
Yes, I was a 5 round.
I like it. Well, thank you very much for the time, as always, Yoel, my friend. It's always a pleasure talking to you. Thanks to your manager as well for setting this up. We'll talk to you soon. Good luck in training.
Thank you so much. God bless you. Shalom.
All right. Shalom, my friend. There he is, the soldier of God, the great Yoel Romero stopping by. And great to hear from him. So, again, that's April 27th in Sunrise, Florida. Not Miami, as has been previously reported. Sunrise, Florida, which is essentially Fort Lauderdale. It's where the Florida Panthers play, if you're familiar with that area. Actually, a lot of big MMA events have happened there. Strikeforce used to go there. And Elite XC, in fact, the final Elite XC event of all time happened there. October 4th, 2008. Kimbo Slice versus Seth Petrozelli happened on that date in that arena. And then, of course, Kimbo got knocked out and the whole thing crumbled. But a very interesting turn of events there as far as Paulo Costa is concerned. So in the interest of full disclosure, I did hear some rumblings about that. I've reached out to his team on multiple occasions. I reached out to USADA. I reached out to Jeff Nowitzki of the UFC. Nowitzki never got back to me. If I'm being honest, that's par for the course. USADA said that they were deferring to the UFC because per the new policy, which isn't in their handbook, if you will, it is not in the actual policy, but they did announce that they would wait for the whole process to play out, something that we saw with the likes of Sean O'Malley, so they could not comment on something if it was ongoing, and so they deferred me to that, and also reached out to Costa's team, who did not comment on the situation. So that's all I've been able to hear about it, but interesting to hear that he has been told, Yoel, that is, from the UFC, that is the reason why the Costa fight isn't happening. A lot of people have reached out to me about that. We will try to circle back now and confirm and see if that is in fact 100% accurate. Not the kind of thing that you want to get wrong, not the kind of thing you want to throw out without an official confirmation. The UFC historically will not comment on ongoing cases, and so I understand why. But since this was a fight that was essentially reported by many different outlets, it seemed like the kind of story that we wanted to get confirmed, or at least an explanation as to why they were going with Jacare and not Costa. All right, so a fun day in the books. One last thing before I go. Since you're watching this online, whether it be YouTube or Twitter, I want to let everyone know that this Saturday, I'll be wearing a different hat, and I'm incredibly excited about this. This Saturday, I'm going to be a part of the Hoop Streams show from Oklahoma City, the Chesapeake Energy Arena. Yes, I'm going to be part of an NBA show. I kid you not. It's the Warriors at the Thunder, and I have the great honor of working on the show with Cassidy Hubbarth. I can't believe that I'm actually going to get to do this. As you may know, I love the NBA. I love basketball. This is going to air on Twitter, live.twitter.com/ESPN, and you can watch it on the same platform that you're watching this right now if you're watching this live, and it's going to be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time from Chesapeake Energy Arena as we get you set for Warriors at Thunder. I can't believe it. And it won't conflict with the London card because it's going to happen after that card is over, so it's going to be great. Yes, I'm going to be at an NBA game actually working. This is a dream come true, and hopefully the start of many opportunities in that sport because, like I said, I love the NBA almost as much as I love mixed martial arts. So anyway, I want to let you know if you're not doing anything Saturday, check that out, 7:30. Thank you to the team here at ESPN, Mike Foss, Steve Brabant, everyone who works on those shows for giving me this opportunity. It's a huge honor, and I won't let you down. So I'm off to OKC, not right now, on Friday, but stay tuned for that. It's going to be great. It's an invasion. The New World Order. It continues. We're taking over. But for now, we have to get out of here. So thanks to all of you for listening. Thanks to all our guests. It has been a very fun day. I have enjoyed it. We have talked to a lot of different people. I want to thank Junior Dos Santos. Congratulations to him. Greg Jackson, thank you very much for his time. Anthony Smith, incredible stuff. Thank you very much to him. Joe Duffy, good luck this weekend. Sarah Kaufman, congrats to her. Vitor Belfort, congrats to him as well. Thank you very much to Dillon Danis. Looking forward to his fight on May 11th. Thank you very much, and all the best to Alex Volkanovski and his family and his daughter in particular. And thank you very much to Yoel Romero. Good luck April 27th in Sunrise, Florida. A reminder, we're back on ESPN2 and ESPN News on Tuesday night, late night. So if you missed anything, plus you'll get to hear our 3 stars, and we shall turn back the clock. But for now, if you missed anything, check it out. iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, all those places and more. Back next week, same time and place. Until I say peace.